Cowlazars, Cowlazars.
Everyone has stuff they don't.
Cowlazars, Cowlazars, Cowlazars. Come on, let's have some adventures. We'll spend days, we'll spend weeks, we'll spend months working our way through treasure hunts. Cowlazars, 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 Cowlazars. Mike drinks coffee a ton. Feel free to send him some.
But I didn't make any coffee because we had to scramble to get this one together. Hey, everybody. Today's Sunday. It's not Monday. It's not Thursday. But kpro said, we're going live. Get going. So I said, okay.
We're going live.
Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. Today is Sunday, June 21st. How's the audio? Let's do a check. Say hi, kpro.
Hi, kpro. Happy Father's Day, Mike, to you,
Thank you. And everybody should check out the video that kpro made for me for Father's Day. It's on the Hint of Riches channel, but check that out if you have a
He's wrong. You could play the little sound clip. Me and the kids, all the kids had a great time and gave me lots of insight and made me move stuff around, which took, for me, can you just move this one around? And it would take me an hour. But they were
you wouldn't have happened without you. So thank you very much.
I
will say this. I am going to go make some coffee, and kpro can take over for a minute because there's like 18 clips we're going to show tonight.
Oh my gosh.
But it seems like a lot. So we're going to be here for a while, guys. This is probably going to be a 2-hour show. So sit back. Maybe we'll do phone calls at the end. There's a lot to talk about. So sit back, make some coffee, get your beverage of choice, make some popcorn, call the neighbor, call your friend that was so invested in the hunt, and we'll show some clips and we'll talk about some things. Because even though the treasure chest was found, we can still talk about it because we're waiting. Right?
And I'm so glad to see Holy here because we'll need you. She's saying woohoo clips. We'll need you here because I won't say it's a dump. It's the things that are relevant to right now. And I won't say every single one of them is going to be shown because there's going to be some things in the documentary. The documentary is taking a whole new direction. Some people have asked about it. I think we have more interest than we've had ever before. We are taking kind of a different direction with some more searcher stories than and say that 5 times fast than ever before. This was really going to be more of a talking about the hunt and kind of the phenomenon of the hunt. There's a whole new phenomenon that's happening. So I'll do the things that Mike usually does. We want you to thumbs up this video and we want you to super chat is on if you have questions. So here's what we're going to do. I think the things that we're going to show, we're actually going to go in order. So we're going to show some of the Douglas stuff first, and then some of the stuff from Forrest, and then some of the stuff from Douglas and Forrest. So it's going to be a little not as smooth because we're going to talk about a couple different topics tonight. So yeah, happy Parent Day. Some great searcher stories. I like it, logical. So already 2 thumbs down. No, we need 12 because there is the dirty dozen. They even thumbs down the Father's Day video that the kids made. So I want to shout out to you guys and say, we need all 12 of you because you watch every single one of our shows and you're bringing us views and monetization. And I just want to say thank you to all those people that thumbs down. There you go. And Mike doesn't like me to talk about it, so I won't talk about it when he gets back. You said you'll do what Mike does. You mean more soundboard. Sheepdog. Okay, maybe today because it's Father's Day. Before he gets here, no one say anything. I won't get mad at him at all, except if he plays the really naughty ones. I don't like the naughty ones. They're ugh. Okay, so here is what we are going to go over today. Maybe the finder is here. That is true, and maybe they want to see what Forrest was saying. We asked some questions related to what if the treasure chest was found. What did you enjoy most about the chase? I don't know if we included those in tonight's clips. But if you were to do this over again, would you hold this hunt for us? Would you do the thrill of the chase? His answer was no. So I wanted you to know that. So Okay, so those are the things that we're going to go over. It ended up being more and more because it kind of came up through different questions throughout the interview. So we are going to jump into different parts of that. So before Mike gets back, because he's making coffee in a whole different part of the house, it might take him a good 20 minutes to get back because he's in a nice big house now. Monday, tomorrow, is going to be our first Vegas Die content show. Those of you that have wanted the Vegas Die 1.0 books, we are sold out. We're trying to get some more. We do have a potential opportunity to get you guys more. We will let you know, but we're going to go over the differences of 1 and 2 so you won't be left out, and it will be good if you're a part of this. If you didn't know, if you're not on Facebook, I was boots on the ground yesterday with house husband Carter and Bill on the Theodosia cache. I will tell you, it was rumored yesterday to be found. I don't think it was. And I certainly wasn't the person. I'm hanging up my hat from Theodosia for a variety of reasons. I will tell you all about that on Thursday. So that is our Monday, Thursday show. I will probably still go live once or twice probably next weekend, just to talk some Forrest Fenn stuff. I think more's coming out. That's just my opinion. Oh, I don't know what. Oh, okay. I sorry, kids running around. So, one thing that I wanted to say, because I actually want the kids to come and comment about this. Here is what I had happen today, and both of my kids want to comment about it. So, is he coming? I told them they can come at the
Do
beginning.
we have a special guest?
We have 2 special guests. We have
Oh,
2
wait a
little
minute.
special guests. Okay, here she is in all of her glory. Come over here, Sam.
All right. Say
Okay.
hi, Sam Lazars.
Sam, say hi. Hey. Hey.
All right.
That's her and what she does.
So
Okay, so here's what happened. I'm only going to give them a few more seconds, and then we got to get to other things. I had a searcher message me that they believe solidly in their solve, and they believe
Many.
I'm gonna, but I've had many do that.
Well,
you still hear me?
You just disconnected. Talk.
Can you still hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna plug it back in a second, but I want to get their comments. And they started it with, and I need you to read this to your kids. And they read how little Sam Lazar's hint of riches, new and old, was important in their solve, and they thought she was right. And then they said kpro was right with one of the clues that he talked about. I'm not going to disclose it because I think I'm not sure if this person wants that part out. One of his clues. So he was just giving a shout out. He's like, I need you to know how important your kids' videos were. And Sammy had only done 2 or 3. So
that means New Mexico, right? Isn't that where they both thought it was, New Mexico?
They both did think New Mexico. Okay. Absolutely. So, okay. Well,
no, are they out?
Yeah. Okay.
It happened.
Done with that. That
live
is
video, everybody.
we're done, guys. We're done. Go on your way. They wanted to actually say some nice things to the finder, but
maybe we could make a video and we could upload.
Yeah, because live is not good for a 10 and 13-year-old that don't like to get along. You did nothing wrong.
I don't know if you said it while I was gone, but I will remind everybody to thumbs the video up. Make sure you subscribe. You know what? On the Cowlazars channel, we are almost at 4,000 subscribers. So anybody out there who's not subscribed, if you could hit the subscribe button, we would appreciate it. Super chat's on. If you have a question that you just have to get read or answered, if we can answer it, we will. Yep. And it's just a way to show support. And thanks everybody for tuning in. So like I said before, there will be a couple clips that we're going to show from our Forrest Fenn Douglas Preston interview that we have not shown before that we thought were apropos now that the treasure chest has been found. And Chase Opley update real quick right here. Right here. They're ready for the post office. So these are getting ready for the post office. I'm getting all that stuff taken care of. So everybody's like, oh, what's going on this week? I'm going to try and get it all done this week. So thanks for everybody who wanted one. And yeah, I think that's all I got. Oh, I did want to do one other thing. There was a new article that came out from Inside Edition, this Tony Ducapol guy, whatever his name is. But what I wanted to bring up is that they had a guy who's a prominent appraiser, and her opinion.
Oh, I saw that article.
Yeah, isn't that cool? Her opinion was, I see pre-Columbian artifacts. I see American coinage, gold coins. One coin is known as the Ship of Gold coin and dates back to the year 1857. That particular coin has a market value of $15,000 just for that one coin, 15
Yeah.
grand. Another coin called Walking Liberty was minted in 1927 and is worth 2 grand. One item could be a solid gold Inca figure estimated at $10,000 or more. And the box alone could be worth 15 grand. I think Forrest said he paid 25, didn't he? But then he did say he overpaid for it. So that's interesting. I mean, just those 4 things is what, almost.
But did you see the end? Where
The
they
total
said
treasure, according to Verta,
easily.
is easily $1 million. This
Easily.
appraiser, by looking just at the pictures that
Yeah.
Forrest put out on Dale's blog, said easily $1 million. So that's pretty awesome.
So to that man back east, you easily have $1 million. Easily. I liked it. Okay.
If you guys saw our video from, was it 2 days ago? The shy guy from back east did send me a letter in the mail and explain clue 1. We don't know who it is that sent me that, guys. I just thought it was interesting that somebody got there, solved clue 1 on the air by sending me a letter to my UPS box, and that address is down below. If anybody else wants to send anything.
Gosh, you
I don't
are
know, solution wise. I mean, if anybody wants to send anything, somebody said they're sending you the frog, kpro. So I got to go check the UPS.
I'm not
box.
even promoting. I got an anonymous email that said, "Didn't realize that's how we get information to you. I've sent the frog to you or to Mike. Mike, you better tell me if you get."
If I get a package, guys, I will open it live on the show for tomorrow.
Yeah.
Whatever that package is, it's there. If it's not a Vegas die book, I'll open it live.
Oh, Sam Bell, $1 million before attorney's fees and taxes.
Doug Heideck says, I bid $1 million for the Golden Frog. So you got some competition, K-Pro.
Oh,
Yeah,
no,
Mike
I don't.
Pumped. Yeah, of course, it's not the real finder, but we thought it was fun to read it. So we did. Anyway. Okay.
Well, and I'm enjoying, I do have to say I'm not reading through solves all the way, but I'm enjoying well, the one I got today about the kids' videos I just enjoyed it. And they did say their absolute favorite video was when I showed the blanket. They're like, I've never laughed so hard in my life. And we had a little back and forth. So thank you for making me smile. That's awesome.
Eleanor says, I'm working on the Beacon Star.
Ooh, nice.
And happy Father's Day, Rodney. He says, I'm stuck far away from home and family. Well, at least you got your searcher family here right now together.
He's deployed.
Talking.
I saw over on Shannon. He's deployed right now.
Okay.
So our hearts are with you, Rodney.
Thanks
and thank
for
you for
Yeah.
defending our freedom. So there's a man right there.
Okay. Should we jump right into it, or do you got anything else to go over?
Oh, I can just talk.
Yeah.
No, let's just
Let's not delay the inevitable.
Let's not delay it.
We said we were going to show clips. Which did we actually? We're going to do the Douglas Preston one first. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah. So let me tee it up
then.
a little bit.
Okay.
One of the things that I asked both Forrest and Douglas was, what surprised you? So just because it's kind of relevant to what we're having come out right now, we thought we would go over that. We thought we would go over again. Forrest said beforehand that, and he said it through the years, that it's going to be up to the finder what they do with the solve and whether it would be out or not. We're going to play that clip and then just maybe a little glimpse of some things that you might not know that happens to Forrest and maybe what he's dealing with right now. So I will tell you, you guys aren't going to be upset about this. It's a little bit lengthier than normal. So we're going to have probably, I don't know, a few minutes on each clip.
Say yes or no.
Go ahead.
That's it.
Oh, so I do got to apologize, everybody. I tried to set these clips up, meaning actually clip them and separate them the right way, but my computer keeps locking up. Whenever I try and do any editing of videos, my computer just locks up and I have to kill the power. So it may be time for a new command center, but that's why this is going to be a little discombobulated. I got to do it this way. So just bear with us, but we're showing it anyway. We're going to go to right here. All right, here we go. Kpro asks a question. Douglas answers.
Very nice. So what is your role in the chase now?
I don't know, talking to people like you. Actually, my role in the chase is just having fun vicariously, having vicarious fun watching the action, all the excitement. I mean, it's really, I can't believe how it's exploded. I had absolutely no idea when this thing started that it become so big. And so it's been fun for me. I don't have to deal with all the crazies the way Forrest does. You know, he's had to call the police a number of times. He's had to call 911. At one point, I think he and his daughter had to hold some crazy guy at gunpoint who broken into their house. And, you know, so I get to enjoy the chase without the negative aspects of it.
Okay, so Douglas is saying, lucky me, I don't have to deal with the crazy people, basically, right?
Right.
And I got to grab one thing. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, so he basically knew it from one step removed. He didn't know it exactly. So that kind of tees up a couple of the things that we're going to talk about. But we know that there's a lot going on right now from Forrest's perspective. And so that's the one that I just wanted to tee up kind of the conversation and things that we had. And then we're going to focus on Forrest directly because, you know, that's what we want to see is Forrest directly.
I got to give a shout out to Mr. Richard McKeever. He sent 2 silver coins in the mail.
Oh,
right
nice.
there. And these 2 silver coins are from Sunshine Minting, and they are 999 fine silver, 1 troy ounce each. And these are for our treasure hunt that we end up doing, kpro. These are
Okay.
prizes for the treasure hunt that me and you come up with. So thank you,
Yes.
Richard McKeever. I really appreciate it. Anyone
you,
else,
Richard.
if you want to send anything to go into the treasure hunt that me and kpro are going to do, details on that are down the road. We're going to kind of let everybody else do theirs first type thing. The address is down below. Yeah. So thank you, Richard. We do appreciate that.
Yeah.
Wanted to show those 2 1-ounce silver coins. So
Nice. Nice. That's awesome.
So Douglas was just pointing out, I don't know if you talked about it, but he was just pointing out that he likes it because he doesn't have to deal with the people that Forrest does. Yeah, calling 911 and doing that crazy stuff.
Yeah. And I just said that kind of sets up where we have some discussion later with Forrest. So,
Okay.
Okay.
All right, on to the next one, which is the million years.
Yes.
Okay. Give me a second to get
So a lot of people are saying that Forrest said all along, all the way up until the finder said, or he said that there was a finder, that he absolutely never said that that he would leave it up to the finder. So for those people, this was November of 2019.
Here
Over
we
to
go.
you.
Now, do you want your final location to be known, or are you ambivalent to that? So when
What do you
the
mean my final location?
the final location of the treasure chest, where that special spot to you?
That's up to the person that finds it, and if he says he doesn't want anybody to know, in a million years, I would not tell anyone.
Do you mind if he does tell everyone?
It's his decision.
Okay. Why do you think the treasure?
It's his decision. That is where we ended it, right? That is, in fact.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Want to make sure. Okay. So never in a million years. He said it back in November. Well, once the finder finds it, it's up to them. He's never going to say. And it sounds like at this point, he's staying true to his word. For
Yeah.
anybody who wants to say, hey, Forrest is changing things, he said at least of November next year, he would never say.
Yeah, last year. And I told Billy, and Janet said that there was a couple of quotes. I went to try to find them. I haven't been able to find them. If there was additional quotes, I will go and find them. I believe he has said that all along. But this is the one that I know, and we've played before. But that is the information there. I was asking, why didn't he say that in the book? The only thing that I can think of is I don't think he knew all of this that was going to come out. And all the things that were going to happen. So I don't think he thought it was going to be as important as it was, as it is now. It's interesting because we've actually played this clip 2 months ago, maybe 3 months ago, and nobody had any issues. Now that the treasure chest has been found and the finder has not come out immediately within the first 14 days, we have people absolutely losing their mind and saying it's Forrest. I didn't even really comprehend or digest that quote like I should have.
And Hawkman says, since Forrest is the finder, I guess he will never tell us. And we're going to talk about that. There's a conspiracy theory, the controversy in the community that people are starting to creep up and more people are talking about it. So I'm going to address it at least anyway. Kpro can give her own thoughts. But at the end of the show, at the end of all these clips, I'm going to give you my opinion.
We'll give our opinions on that because how can we not? I mean, I know a lot of people are discussing it, and Mike and I maybe don't agree on everything, and we didn't fully talk about it. So we're going to give our opinions. There you go.
Okay. And then the next one is the long one, correct?
Yeah. So we actually have 3 question and answers here. I think there's going to be a lot to unpack and discuss about this. And Mike, why don't you stop it between each one and we discuss,
Gotcha.
but then you can just
Okay.
go right back to it.
All
And we're just going to play it straight through because I think all are relevant at this point because all of them are coming up on the blogs right now. So,
And
Mike,
I do want to show, Mindy wanted us to show the auction, so I could show that real quick. The eBay auction, remember?
Oh, yes. No,
Okay.
actually,
So-
Mindy didn't want to. I saw it posted and I said, hey, why don't we announce this because it's kind of cool.
So I do got to give Mindy D lives here in Las Vegas. I got to give her a shout out because she posted something very interesting. A lot of people are saying, why is there a stick in the chest? What's that stick all about? And she put it together. She said, what does Forrest write in every book? A stick figure. So somehow it's related. It's like the missing hint. So I thought that was pretty clever. She's been doodling a stick figure in all these books, and now there's a stick in the chest. So she just put together stick.
Well, somebody said it's an olive branch to the finder.
I want to know, was it in the chest or did the finder put it in there? We're not clear on that. I mean, I'm assuming it was in there.
Ooh, Rodney wants to call in, so we're gonna have call-ins. Hopefully by the end, we have so many. Or do we want to stop between each one? And if we go over, then we can go another night. Okay, no, okay, you're the boss.
I just wanted to show this real quick. This is from the World Series of Fenn. That's a poker tournament that me and Kpro do every year. We are, in fact, doing it next year, January of next year, so searchers can get together and talk. We all need closure. We all need grief counselors, and that'll be the venue, one of the places. I know I hear there's a Yellowstone meetup being planned also. We can talk about that later.
We need to talk about
so this is the program and the prizes that we're giving away at the World Series of Fenn and the poker chip. So it's at $15. It's only got one bid, but it ends in 5 minutes. So I just wanted to put that out there. This is not me and Kpro's auction. Forrest is not involved with this. Me and Kpro are not involved with this. I just like to put info out there for people that are interested.
And
look up World Series of Fenn on
just in case that name scares anybody, this is a really, really sweet Mindy from Vegas, just to be clear. She's a really nice person. She got a little heat because some people thought maybe she was somebody different at one of the events. She's a very, very nice searcher. She's very supportive of the chase, always has been. Some of you might know kind of what I'm she's wonderful. Don't not bid on her items because you might think something different. She's a wonderful Mindy. She's a great Mindy. She's wonderful.
Okay. Hey, Mindy, if you're watching. Okay, should we jump right into the clip? This one's got several things in it. So like Kpro said, we'll just pause.
Hey, do we want to go over any of the last clip before we jump into the next? There's lots of chat comments, or do we?
Oh, yeah, sure. Of course.
Okay. So, but Forrest has said when somebody finds a treasure chest, everybody's going to say, my God, why didn't I think of that? I think the rest of that sentence would have been if the finder decides to come forward with it. That's my opinion. If a person finds it and he doesn't want the IRS to know it, then maybe the spot will never be revealed. There's another quote from Forrest. So thank you, search community. You guys are putting in quotes that that from the past, which is awesome.
And a lot of people are saying all Mindys are cool. I like both Mindys, and that's fine. We're not saying anything. We just were letting you guys know that that particular auction is the Mindy here in Vegas. That's all.
Yeah, that's all.
And I will bring up one little conspiracy theory people had, or it's not even a theory, it's just a thought, is that when Forrest says he communicated with the finder back in 2018, it maybe somebody could verify, is 2018 in fact his gut feeling comment where he said, I have a gut feeling the treasure chest will be found this year? Because that would totally make sense if this finder emailed him a solution or partial solution that was correct. So Forrest had I've got a gut feeling, and then for whatever reason this finder never got out there to look, or couldn't find it until recently. But yeah, it just the timing fits. That's
okay,
all.
let me do another one. Quote, once they find it and have it in their possession, I'm out of the picture. They can do whatever they want with it. You can't ... I don't want to make rules for people after the fact. That's a good one. Thank you, Jeff.
Yeah. So it's just Forrest has said all along, whoever finds it, it's up to them what they do with it. That sucks for the rest of us. I understand. And we all kind of go, well, wait a minute. But Forrest has also said the person that finds that treasure chest will not be able to keep it quiet. Remember that one, kpro?
Yes.
So
I
we
do.
are hoping that the finder will come out with a solution. They're just preparing it and planning to do it the way they want to roll it out. That's what we're hoping.
Jeff says, quote, the hint of the thrill of the chase text will not be made public because they would say more than I want to reveal.
The
I
subtle
don't know that quote.
The subtle hints.
Oh,
Yeah,
the subtle
I
hints.
believe that he
Okay.
did say that. Somebody asked him, would you reveal the subtle hints? And Forrest, I know you're watching. I think you should reveal the subtle hints. I don't think that is going to help anybody solve it, but at least you could give
Well,
us
just like the state, everybody wants to stay. I think
state.
eventually
Just give
those
the
things will
state.
come.
That's all. Craig
Okay.
Carter points out it would have had to have been provided before February 4th, 2018, because that was the 6 questions on Mysterious Writings when Forrest had the gut feeling comment. Okay, that's good info, Craig. I didn't know it was February, so maybe it's still applicable if this person emailed him in January. Maybe not. It was just a thought people were kicking around.
Okay. MW3 says, and there's more to Ryan. Okay. Here's a question. I get that there are a lot of loons out there, but will Forrest hide another treasure before he passes with a whole new poem, or perhaps he has already hidden another one? Oh, we have a clip for you, my friend. You just wait. Okay, Logical Searcher says February 4, 2018. My gut feeling is that someone will find it this summer. Okay, yeah.
So it was February of 2018 when he says he communicated with the finder in 2018. We don't know if that was related or not. We can guess all day, but we don't know. And then that summer, at the end of that summer, he said, my gut feeling is wavering. So obviously whatever he thought did not come to pass, did not happen. So
check your text,
right.
Mike.
Okay.
And play the next one, please. And do 4 more things all at the same time. If Forrest is watching, maybe he would tell kpro if he bought the treasure chest back. Oh, Forrest, do it for Denise. Tell me. No, he's going to be going through Dale's site, guys. There's nothing that someone emailed me and said, is this your documentary clips or did he give you something today? That's going to be going through Dale's site. It's appropriately so. Forrest has done everything and then some for me. So, yeah. So there you have it. But if you wanted to, Forrest, I will tell you, I will not decline if you send me an email and you want something to come out. We will get it out anytime, anywhere. I will get on and I will figure out how to go live.
So the auction does end in 39 seconds and it jumped up to $22. Just putting that out there. You know what? We might as well watch it because we usually watch eBay auctions when they end, right?
Oh, and we have
another eBay auction somebody just sent us that you guys may be interested in. So this one, World Series of Fenn program and poker chip. Thank you to kpro who put together this awesome program. And it's a nice reminder, nice souvenir if you guys attended any of the World Series of Fenn. That was the first one. That was the first one we did, right?
The first one was in New Mexico.
Right.
But we had the gaming commission, so we had to move it to Vegas.
So looks like it's going to end at 2187.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, not bad.
Not bad.
$20 is $20, as they say. All right, the other one, let me look it up real quick.
And to good listener, thank you for the super chat. You'll have to do a sound clip in a minute, Mike. kpro. The stick is to be used with a fishing line. Ooh, I like that. I like it. I like it. Begging Forrest Fenn's attention. What else is new? Exactly, Wave Seeker. You know me. We know each other. You know, that's what I do. I like Forrest Fenn and I'm not below begging and saying, hey, you guys are, oh my gosh.
Super chat from Laura Dunlop. Thank you, Laura. They say, have you guys covered the golden owl hunt from France? We have not, but it's definitely one I will look into for sure.
Ooh,
because we're not in the UK, we're not over there, France, but it's still something we should probably talk about. It's still a ride in the treasure hunting amusement park. You just got to pay euros to get on it, right?
Yes, maybe we should. Let's maybe look at that.
And another one, 3D Bronze. Thank you, 3D Bronze, for that super chat. Okay, so this is an original illustration, everybody. This just got put up on eBay like 20 minutes ago or something, or whenever. It ends next Sunday. This is an original illustration from Too Far to Walk. So check it out. That's pretty cool.
Wait, that's not in Too Far to Walk.
It's what it says. Forrest Fenn illustration from his memoir, Too Far to Walk. Maybe it is, and we just don't remember
I
it.
don't remember. Maybe it's one that wasn't included because that one, I just feel like I would remember it. How cool
Chapter
is that one?
35, Elmore
Wow.
Story on Fire, page 182. Illustration created by Danny Bodelson. So if anybody wants a souvenir, a memoir, a reminder, this is one of the original illustrations. And again, this is not near kpro's auction. We don't have anything to do with it. Forrest Fenn does not profit from this in any way. It's just a searcher who sent it to us, say, hey, people, let people know. And that's what we're doing. We're letting you guys know.
Very
So there-
cool. I like that one because you know what? If you took CBS out, that could have been me.
What?
I want
Oh,
that
that
one.
could have been you interviewed?
Mike,
Oh, I
Hey
see.
Mike, hey Mike, let's
I
do
see what
eBay.
you're doing.
Oh, I might want that one
Mm.
because that could be. And you never know which network's going to pick up our documentary. We have
That's
some
true.
interest, guys. Okay,
The
when
Owl
will
Hunt
you
is 1 million euro. All right, so it's a big one over in France. All right, maybe we'll talk about it. Let me do some research on it. Cool. Thank you, Laura, for bringing it up. And I've heard
Yeah.
it before. It never occurred to me to actually do videos on it, so I may do that.
Yeah. Denise says, when will you release the clip you just referred to about another chase? In my opinion, it's already been announced in Forrest's second paragraph of the announcement of the find.
Another chase? I don't remember.
I think another hunt. No, I read somebody's Denise, I think if you go back, I read somebody's question and I said, oh, just you wait, because we have a quote about this hunt. And would he do, if he was to do it over again, what would he do? So wait until you see the quote. I think we're miscommunicating in some way.
Oh, Nick
kpro,
says, oh, go ahead. Go
Go
ahead.
go
Well, no, Nick says, releasing my solve here in 5 minutes. Just released it on Reddit. You will not be happy about this one. Okay, Nick, thanks for the heads up.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I will do, okay, we're gonna have to do something about so Reddit has gone crazy about this Yellowstone meetup, and I do want to talk to it because
Yeah.
Reddit sucks. There's my
Somebody
quote.
emailed me today and said Discovery Channel's in Yellowstone. And I said, where'd you get that from? And they said, well, somebody put it on Facebook. And I said, well, that means it has to be true, right? So
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, they
It's a
tried
rumor.
to say the
Rumor.
event that I'm helping plan, the finder's going to be there. And I said, oh, who did you hear that from? And they were like, oh, you have to know. I'm like, well, I'm helping organize it. And
Yeah.
I invite them there, but they're nasty people. Okay. What are the chances that the anonymous finder, quote, stumbled upon the box and was not a searcher and did not reach out to Forrest in the last part of 2018?
What do you think the chances are of that, kpro?
That would mean Forrest lied about 2018. That means they stumbled upon it and Forrest didn't correct that. That means 500,000 people actively searching for it didn't find it, but somebody found. I'm going to put that in the not likely category, but that doesn't mean it's not. There's lots of conspiracy theories that I don't believe, but that doesn't mean.
And
that
then if
doesn't
you
mean anything.
believe Forrest and the things he said over the years, he said nobody will stumble upon it. The location is remote. It's a remote location. So I guess my question would be, would it even be possible for somebody to accidentally find it?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's if you believe what Forrest has said. So.
And
I know what
super
we're going
chat,
through, right?
3D bronze, thank you. Woohoo is all.
Oh yeah, I had.
said in that
Thanks,
message.
3D Bronze. Appreciate
And
it.
Wave Seeker says, I still love you. We go way back. Yes, we do. And here's my thing. I'm not begging, but I am shameless about, not shameless about, I ask the worst thing. I always think the worst that somebody can say is no. And when I called Forrest and said, would you do a documentary interview? I thought for sure he was going to say no. And he said, come on down. And so why not? Because that's the worst. So Forrest, if you want to send something, you go right ahead. Or you
And
want
yeah. And
info?
Forrest, anything, email me and we'll read it right now. Denise says kpro in Forrest's announcement, he said he followed the clues in his book. So Denise is saying Forrest said right in the announcement, the person who found it followed the clues. Somebody didn't stumble upon it. in
Yeah.
other words.
Yeah.
So
See,
again,
I'm still way back in the, okay. Tony Russi, how much is a trailer spot at the fishing bridge? Asking for a friend. I don't know. Let's ask Cynthia that. Cynthia is the head organizer with Sunshine. I am just doing the contest and giveaways because that's what we do. And we have some stuff.
wow, we got a big one from Wave Seeker.
Wow.
Thank you, Wave Seeker. It says, thanks, Mike and Christy, for everything you've done. I still remember the mystery box that Mike got with 212 on the outside. I think that was a crate, right? I believe I remember that as well. Thanks, Wave Seeker. We really appreciate the super chat. I know. I was like, Red, something wrong? No, it's just a super chat.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you.
And I
We
will say one of the cool things, Mike had to work and he actually had some pretty intense training when he moved the week that he moved. So I will say I might have helped out a little extra and boxed up a few things.
Oh, wow.
I am shocked about how many treasure hunts, treasure boxes, treasure things, treasure lamps,
Related stuff.
treasure
I had.
related
Yeah.
item, $1 million items that you had. And I actually was like crushing on Mike because I'm like, my boyfriend's a treasure hunter, not a Forrest Fenn. I'm a Forrest Fenn treasure hunter trying to branch out. My boyfriend's a treasure hunter. There you go.
Thank you. T. Brown has got an interesting point. If Forrest Fenn didn't hear since 2018 from the finder, then how was the toe-to-toe known by Forrest Fenn? I guess that means if you believe his toe-to-toe contest meant that there were two people in a race. Some people, instead of it just being a fun contest having to do with toenails, some people read into it,
Right.
he was trying to give a message. But could it have been two people that were toe-to-toe, and then the turtle from 2018 wins the race, and the third person found it and blindsided Forrest and everybody else? I mean, is that a possibility?
Do you remember his stick figure contest that Jonesy won? Does that mean the stick he was trying to give us a hint? Stick figure.
And somebody else said he put the stick in there just as a verification thing to know that nobody could fake it. Somebody actually had to find it to see that stick on top.
Yeah.
And wouldn't that be just a basic, you're hiding it and you go, oh, here's a stick, I'm going to put it in there. So whenever somebody finds it and tells me they find it, I can say, you know,
And that's exactly what Oki said, because
Yeah.
if you call and you say to Forrest or you email Forrest, I found it, and he says, what's in there? Who would have randomly thought, oh, I found a stick? Like I can see, he's like, I could see them saying, oh, diamonds and pearls and this and that. No, it was a stick, like a random stick, and it had a bunch of holes, like little knot holes in it. Like I could see that Forrest, he's such a maverick. Like he said during the interview, I'm like 10 steps ahead of you. Yeah.
The
I
other
think he
toe.
is.
Sergeant Hulk. All right, we ready for this clip yet, everybody?
Wait.
Joshua Pritchett, how you doing? No, you didn't. You missed one clip, but we're about to show a long one here in a minute.
Okay. And
What about the rusty scissors? Yeah, go ahead.
okay, in Forrest's announcement, he said, follow the clues in his book. So yeah, if you believe his announcement, and I believe you had to take a leap of faith to be a part of this treasure hunt. We had no proof he actually put the treasure chest out in its location. Just like we don't not have definitive, absolute proof that there's a guy from back east, etc. So if you believe he hid a treasure chest, then you would believe his announcement. I'm not 100% there. We're going to talk about that later. I'm not 100% there, but I am mostly there.
What? 100% on what?
I'm not 100% that we'll talk about that later.
The announcement? Is that what you're saying?
I have not seen, there's two things that I know in this treasure hunt. The chase is over, and the chest has been retrieved.
Gotcha. You don't see any proof of anything other than those. Those are two facts. You don't know about the rest of it.
Those are two facts that I think some don't believe that. Some think he doctored that picture of the treasure chest and it's still out there. And that's okay if you believe that. I have seen enough evidence. I don't believe the treasure chest is in its location anymore. Do I believe there's a guy back east? I tend to believe it because I had to be in this to trust Forrest. Have I seen enough evidence that I would be like, I'd bet my Bears tickets on it? Oh, and don't say that to Cynthia. She wants Bears tickets then. That's a figure of speech in my
Raiders
world.
Bears. Let's do it, Cynthia.
That's what she said.
Super chat from William. Loose lips sink ships. And that's another good point. Did Forrest think about when it was found, how people were going to be upset if the finder didn't want to release it? And that's something we'll talk about at the end of these clips, for sure.
Okay. Rooster says, why hasn't Forrest publicly congratulated the finder? Here is some conspiracy theories. AGK, I talked to Toby for a while, and Toby believes this Forrest Fenn, ifoundit.com or whatever it is, that they found it last year and they just sold it to somebody.
They sold it, yeah.
And the person went there. So the person that went there and showed him the chest was not the finder. It was like the really rich oil tycoon. So that's why he's like, oh, I didn't anticipate that. So he's not going to congratulate the finder. I don't know is the answer. But it's a good question. Or here's the thing. Is that congratulations? Think about the few sound bites that we've held back that I think are going to be good for the documentary. Are there a few sound bites that the finder has said, I want you to publicly congratulate me in this way, and I want this as a soundbite for my documentary, for my movie, for my book. Maybe. Okay. The blaze is undeniable, and if it's okay, people with their soul.
Yeah, Nick, then none of that's going to get through. So you might as well just stop. Nick's trying to post his solution, which you're right. Nobody would like that. So if you put it on Reddit, anybody can go look for it on Reddit, but we're not going to put it in the chat. kpro, why did Cynthia choose Vegas over Cody? Has nothing to do with the treasure chest being found, does it? 'Cause
Wait,
I
say
think
that again.
why did Cynthia choose Vegas over Cody? That's probably a question for Cynthia, but you can.
I know the reason. I don't know if she is good. I think it'll be a part of the presentation that is given. I believe, and I hope I'm not speaking out of turn because I love you, Cynthia. Cynthia has gone through a very emotional process for this to be, like she said, rest in peace, my last 10 years. I think she is letting go of this at this event. And there is a spot that's very special to her that we will be a part of and invited to just kind of say goodbye to the hunt. That's in West Yellowstone. It's not in Vegas.
And Forrest Kalb has a good point. He says, I have the utmost respect for Mr. Fenn, Forrest, everybody, but I'm honestly questioning if the community has been taking it too easy on him. I will ask this again in 30 days, if 30 days goes by without more details. And I kind of agree with that. So
wait, did he say too easy?
That the community is going too easy on Forrest. In other words,
You guys don't know what's happening right now. I disagree. And Mike, you don't know either.
Okay, well, if
That's
there's
my
stuff we
opinion.
don't know, well, then they're obviously speaking from the opinion of what's public, right?
But we know publicly he's had 2 lawsuits. We've seen all the nastiness. We've seen people say, let's riot in front of his house. They've seen people say, let's all do a class action lawsuit.
But in my opinion, those 4 or 5 people you're talking about, they don't represent the community.
They are not 4 or 5.
Well, okay. Well, then, all right. All right.
I just disagree. Okay, the scissors were one of the secrets. What is the toe-to-toe? Okay, I'm so far behind, and we're not going to get to. Super chat loosely. Oh, you already did that one.
Yeah,
I'm so far behind. Do we want more clips, or do we want to go through the chat, guys?
I think we want more clips.
Okay, you guys
cut it out, or you will get banned, buddy. I think we're not.
Yeah, and Lucky and I think alike, and so that's all I need, because you know what? There's only a few people right now that I kind of feel like I'm on the same page of, not everything on what I believe, like what do I believe we're going to talk about at the end, but Lucky posts some stuff that really makes me scratch my head. Okay.
Laura Dunlop says, I think more talks about the chest and the finder will come out once everything is figured out. Definitely not while everything is in transition. And that's a good point. We just don't know what the finder is going through.
Right. But when we talk about being patient,
right.
So 15 days ago, you find $1 million treasure chest.
Mm-hmm.
Forrest announces it, or maybe 16 days ago. Forrest announces it 15 days ago. You need to get cross country. You need to get it to Forrest. You give him his bracelet. There's some pictures. You now have to deal with people filing lawsuits as John Doe to Forrest, etc. Even 30 days, but let's just say 14. People are saying, gosh, we're being too nice to him. When he already publicly said 5 months ago, and many times before that, I'm not going to put it out. You as the finder, would you be saying, I found it, Mike?
Yeah, it depends what issues there are and what needs to be resolved, just like the Laura Dunlop said. I mean,
yeah.
If I had it, I would want to put it out, but I would definitely take time to figure out the best way to put out the solution.
More than 14 days is all I'm saying. Let's give the man a break.
So you're saying wait, in other words, wait, it'll come out when it comes out?
No, I'm just saying more than 14 days. Maybe at 30, I'm going to start to, but he, within 2 weeks, has shown us pictures, and more than one picture. I just before even the 30-day mark, but now that the lawsuits and all of that, I just feel like it's going to come out. But he's shy. I know he's shy. Okay,
He's
whatever.
a shy guy. He's a shy guy with a lot of
shy. Yeah.
Another super chat. Mike,
oh my goodness. Mike.
Still wonder, did Forrest stand alert in Germany in the 50s, ready to drop the A-bomb up close and personal? Is that why blotting out Philly with his thumb took places in his mind? I still wondered if Forrest. Yeah, I don't know. I can't answer that, Mike. Only Forrest will be able to answer that.
See, now Mike's question, I look at and go, that must be related to yourself. It has to be related to yourself, because I don't know the answer to that, but it's an interesting one. He has so many fascinating parts of his life that I don't know if he has shared all of them. So, I would have had a contest for second place. That's an interesting one because Indy has said this and several other people. If you found it and you wanted to put an item at that final spot and continue the chase on, would people lose their minds like they are right now?
Say that again. If the finder left something behind for somebody else to find.
If Forrest puts out tomorrow,
Oh, okay.
the finder wants to be anonymous and has left half of the stash in its final location.
One gold coin. I mean, one coin would be awesome.
Okay, one coin, whatever. Would people still be losing their minds?
People would want the solution. I think people would want the solution. They wouldn't want to. Yeah, I think people still think they're deserved, and that's a good question. Is the searcher community owed the solution, or are they not owed the solution?
When
And
Forrest
I
has
think
said
if
up
somebody
front
left
that he
something-
wasn't going to.
Right.
We
That's
didn't lose our minds 2 or 3 months ago. Everybody heard the clip and they didn't think much of it. Just like
Right.
me.
until reality set in.
Yes.
But and we've talked about this before, when we asked him, do you want your final location known? And he says, it's up to the finder. I didn't make the connection that means the clues aren't coming out, everybody. If you give out the meaning to the clues and the solution, then everybody's going to know the location. Those two things are intertwined. Can't do one without the other. If you could just give the location, but everybody's going to reverse engineer the clues. And if you give the solution to the clues, everybody's going to figure out the location. What we should have said, well, maybe we did actually. Let's play the clip. Maybe we did ask him. You ready?
This makes my headache.
All right, here we go. Let me get to it.
Which one are we doing the last one or the next one?
No, the long one.
Okay. And are we going to do the long one all the way through or are we going to stop
We'll
between
stop.
each question? Okay.
All right, here we go, everybody. Here we go. Even though maybe it's not, it's new. What they say with was it Seinfeld? If you haven't seen it, it's new to you. All right, here we go. Boop. All right, let's see if I got it right.
So why do you engage with searchers? You gave a couple of good examples. You're hearing some aspiring stories.
But I engage with them.
Mhm.
That's the only thing I have left.
So-
Tell me not in mournful numbers, life has been an empty dream. For the soul is dead that slumbers and things are never what they seem. I see myself as an interested observer at this point, a bystander.
So the community
Stop it.
update lead searcher.
Yeah, sorry. I said I was going to do that,
Yeah.
didn't I? Hopefully I can do this. Yeah, for some reason when I share it, it's not doing it the right way. But anyway, okay. So basically, Forrest says, I'm an interested observer at this point. What he's saying is it's out of my hands. When I put it out there, you guys do what you're doing. And you asked him, why do you engage? And he says, well, that's all I have left at this point, right?
Yeah. So the first part of that, I actually think we need to take a pause at. So when I asked, he takes a lot of heat for engaging with searchers. Why does he do it?
Mm-hmm.
He said, it's because it's all I have left. Let's stop for a second. The man put out $1 million treasure chest. He wants to engage with searchers. And this is before it was found. He took a lot of heat. That was the piece he wanted. That one actually, out of the entire interview, hit me more than anything.
Here,
That
let's
made
play it
him-
again. We'll just play just that beginning part one more time.
Yes.
Okay, because yeah. All right. And I know
That was a
it's little
touching answer.
way I'm
Forrest
doing
is a
yeah, it's a little
sweetheart.
bit sad actually. But here, let's play it again for everybody.
I want to go over a couple more things on that quote.
So why do you engage with searchers? You gave a couple of good examples. You're hearing some aspiring stories.
But I engage with them.
Mhm.
That's the only thing I have left.
So-
Tell me not in mournful numbers, life has been an empty dream. For the soul is dead that slumbers and things are never what they seem.
Things are never what they seem.
So I think there's two things happening here. With what he said, he comes off with as this strong, confident, I put this out, this is a book, this is a business kind of thing. And I think this is his way to say, I want to engage with people. I love people. This is the most humanistic I'd ever seen him. And I applaud him for saying it. I don't know if he regrets it, because anybody that exposes their heart, and I am one of them that does at times, people I'm sure will make fun of it and do not so nice things about it. So I just say, and when he says, the mournful slumber and all that, it never what it seems. Maybe he isn't this hardcore businessman that went rags to riches. Maybe he has a very nice soul and he wants to engage with people.
So I took that as only related to the thrill of the chase,
No.
meaning it's all I have left. And you're saying he meant in general in life. I'm this age, and the reason this is all I have left. Oh, let's see. I didn't take it that way. That's interesting.
That's how I took it, because where have I had a lot of discussions with him? I lost my mom and I had a lot of discussions with him about that. I had some struggles in my life and I had discussions about that because he's had so many experiences. He was wise. So I won't get on. Yeah.
We did get a super chat, but read that, kpro. I'm not sure what they're referring to.
Can you play the back east clip from Douglas Preston video?
The back east clip. I don't remember Douglas Preston saying back east. Did he?
I don't remember. They're talking about Michael O'Connell.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I kind of outed Michael
O'Connell. It just occurred to me that he is back east.
Well, and Michael was not, he wasn't ready for me to out his name. And I apologize so much to Michael, because we figured out before we played the clip, but after that it was him. But yeah, probably not tonight, because we still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. We still have quite a few to go.
I can just explain it real quick. So we asked Douglas, does he engage? This is kind of what we asked Forrest or whatever. We just said, do you engage with searchers? Are you in touch? And he said, there is a detective from back east that I've emailed. And that is, it's okay. Well, we've already given the name. It doesn't matter now. That's Michael O'Connell, who's been on the show, who does not have the treasure chest unless he's the best actor in the world, because he came on and was sad it was over and gave his whole solve and all that. So it is interesting that you point out that Douglas Preston said, I know about somebody from back east. And then Forrest says the finder was from back east. So good connection.
I wish Michael would have found it. But so we going back to a second.
Good one. Go ahead.
Going back to what we were talking about, I just believe that this is very human. So it is. And Forrest signed up for this, and Forrest is a part of this, and this was his project. Yes. But there's a moment there that he's a person too. And that's all I'm saying is I just remember when this happened at the time, I just thought that was the most real answer. I wanted to go give him a hug. He was just great.
And remember, he got cancer and was it 1988? And that's when he first had the idea or whatever. But then the cancer goes away. He lives his life. It's kind of in the back of his mind. But then he hit 79 or 80 years old. And maybe at that time, he's like, you know what? I've amassed all these collections. I sit in my den, but there's nobody I'm showing it to. There's nobody to engage with other than his children, his family. But
but like when we went there and he was telling, when he was telling his stories about the things in his den, go get this and go get that, and the Jackie Kennedy bottle and all that, he was telling stories. Oh, it was so awesome.
And
okay, so
worst thing for a storyteller than to not have an audience, to not tell anybody about your story. So that's that's interesting.
Yeah, well, and then the last part, so let's unpack it a little. I'm gonna have to memorize that poem that he recited just like that, because he's 89 and you can do that.
Oh, the back east guy is Chris LaFrida. Well, Chris LaFrida is from New Jersey, I believe. So he could be considered a back east guy as well.
Yeah.
And Chris, I see. So that wasn't Douglas Preston. Forrest Fenn says there's a guy from back east. And this is the guy who tracked down the plane and sent him the plane part. So again, another guy from back east.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And Chris is putting out his solve. Maybe he's somebody to watch because he is putting out his solve. He sent us an email, Mike, about what he's doing. I don't think he's the finder. I've exchanged with him, but maybe it's somebody. Well, but Forrest said it's somebody he didn't know.
Right.
He knows the guy that brought him part of his plane.
Knows who Michael O'Connell is. But Chris LaFrida actually is going to put out a solution because he believes he found a phone number in the thrill of the chase. And when he called it, he actually got a recorded message that to him made a kind of related sense. So you'll have to stay tuned for that one. So thank you for the super chat though. Okay.
Wait. There's the last part of this that was, I'm just an interested observer.
Mm-hmm.
This is the affiliation of once the treasure is with the finder, I don't think Forrest believes he owns it anymore. He's not the person in charge of
and he said
putting
that.
Putting out the press releases, putting out the information. I think he has said it's now over to that. I'm done. Like, this is my part to say it's over. I know in all reality that it's not over that day.
Right.
But what he's saying is anything in relation to that treasure chest and solve, that's to the finder.
But do you think, he says he thought of everything, but do you think he thought of how the community would react to that, to actually doing what Forrest said he always would, which is the finder wants to be anonymous, the when and the where, then sorry, everybody, it is.
I don't think he initially.
Did he realize people would be as upset as they are?
I don't think he initially thought that, but we have a clip about talking about the crazy people. I
Mhm.
think he realized it as things evolved, as people. I think he knew when this announcement was coming out, he was going to have the crazy train that. But I
And-
think 10 years ago, he did not believe that because we have a
right.
clip that's going to show that.
But in my opinion, if Forrest came out with the solution, those crazy people are still crazy. They're not going to believe it's the right. They're still going to believe they were correct, or whatever the viewpoint they have is of why they're filing a lawsuit or whatever. I still think they would continue.
Oh, think about this. When the person comes out, and let's say it is an anonymous person, do you know the number of background checks that are going to be done on that person? The number of people that are going to look for their family? Is there a relation to the finder?
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
the crazy people are going to take their focus of venom on Forrest and they're going to turn it into, this is still a conspiracy. Let me find out who this guy is, because there's still a conspiracy.
Well, I have no problem on the finder being anonymous. I do believe it is on the finder to find a anonymous way to release a solution, whether that's through Forrest Fenn or through some other way. You think the finder should have to come forward?
We'll talk about that after, but I think you're wrong, Mike Kelly.
And I have been before. So
did Forrest say in the interview, you did screw the rules, I make the rules? Sparky, no, I don't. Not that now there's hours of footage, so I don't think so. I don't remember that at all.
We did get a super chat from John Laro. Thank you, John. And Joshua Pritchett has a good comment. He says, you think he thought it would actually be found in his lifetime, Forrest? Also, what if the finder stumbled upon it, didn't even know what it was? That would throw a monkey wrench in the plans. But we talked about that, Joshua, meaning we don't believe it was findable unless you followed the poem. But did Forrest ever really think it would be found in his lifetime? Maybe he thought, I'm not going to have to deal with any of this because I'm not going to be around anymore.
I have another clip for another day that would fly in the face of that. When I actually watched quite a bit of it today, and there was one that he did a little hesitation, and I thought, oh, does he maybe think something? But we don't have time for that tonight because we have so many more new clips that we're going to be putting out.
Ready? You let me know.
Yes, we're ready.
Now, Christopher Pittman points out that Pete Bissonnette released the location and solve after his treasure was found. That's true, but Forrest, for whatever reason, has always said it's up to the finder, and that might relate to the story.
Okay, wait a second. This is the same Pete that said at the beginning when I purchased the book and the other items that we were going to get a video of him hiding it, and then right after he took my money, he said, "Oh no, I didn't mean that. I'm not going to put that out."
He changed his mind. Yeah,
he changed his mind. See, Forrest didn't change his mind. I'm
just. Forrest did not change his mind, but in the treasure hunting amusement park, there's a little sign next to every ride. It says "Ride at your own risk." Just so you know.
And that is why
money back.
Several people were like demanding their money back. I didn't, but and then once I heard that there were 3 actual solves and the red hair, a few more things, I put it, and I'm not knocking Pete. I'm just saying exactly what you say. If we're going to compare treasure hunting organizers, all of them got a little.
Every treasure hunt does not have a happy ending. Look at Masquerade. For those of you who know the history of Masquerade. Another super chat from John. Once again, thanks, John.
Thank you, John.
That was the granddaddy of all treasure hunts that started it in the 70s. It went for however many years. And the person who found it, the way I understand it, is that it was a girlfriend of the guy who hid it, and that's how they figured it out. In other words, there was some inside knowledge going on. 3D Bronze, just saying, finder, I'd pay $25,000, $25,001 for that empty chest. All right. Thank you for that super chat, 3D Bronze.
And it can even be dirty. It wasn't dirty, and we can talk about that later.
And somebody asked us, do you think the finder watches your videos? I think the finder is watching us right now.
I think the finder is watching everything.
Yeah.
If I was the finder, I'd be watching everything. Even if I was a lurker before, I would be lurking everywhere now. Yeah. So.
All right, here we go.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Nope.
We got all night. It's Father's Day. What else?
I was going to say, because
take the kids away. This is your time. Go ahead.
I was going to say, it's Father's Day. Did you want to play more than just? You're being really sweet with the soundboard tonight. You can be on.
Oh, the sound. Oh, yeah. And somebody said they want. Oh, I thought you were going to say play the Father's Day video that you guys.
You can if you want, but let's save that till the end.
Maybe at the end. Okay. All right.
On our way out. On our way out.
Yeah. I got you. I've been so focused on these clips, I haven't even thought about this.
See, John wants another one. I think John wants something on ring. Don't get too crazy. A couple of those should not even be. Hey. We'll lose monetization.
What's that?
Don't get too crazy with the soundboard, my friend.
Oh, well, we do have live audio of the finder when he found it. Oh, hang on.
I can make that much money in 5 seconds.
And he did. As soon as he found the chest, he made that much money in 5 seconds. Okay, there's the super soundboard, everybody. Here is the clip. Let's go back to
Clips.
clips.
Holly's in here. She likes clips. Denise likes
Now
clips.
I got to go back to the beginning. It's been a while. I don't even remember. Oh,
We are at 33:30.
Yes, here we go.
So why do you engage with searchers? You gave a couple of good examples. You're hearing some aspiring stories.
But do I engage with them?
Mhm.
That's the only thing I have left.
I love him.
Tell me not in mournful numbers, life is but an empty dream. For the soul is dead that slumbers, and things are never what they seem. I see myself as an interested observer at this point, a bystander.
So the community is dubbed a lead searcher. Do you believe there's a lead searcher?
Define that term. What is a lead searcher?
The searcher closest to the treasure chest?
How in the world would you know that you were the closest? If you know that you're the closest, why don't you get the treasure chest and go home? As far as I'm concerned, there's no such thing as a lead searcher. And I don't know where that phrase originated, but
And so many are confident that they have it found or they're right there. Does that surprise you? And it's such an interesting phenomenon, I find.
that's
Let me know if you want me to stop it, kpro. Okay.
Okay.
Or stop it now.
Well, we're at lead searcher.
Yeah.
I
yeah.
didn't even care about lead searcher. We need to get to the
I
next
know,
one.
but this is what we decided to do before we went live. So here we go.
who we are as a people. Hundreds of thousands of people have figured out exactly where the treasure is. They know it's there, but they go there and it isn't there. So one of two things have happened. Either somebody's already found it and they're mad, or the whole thing's a hoax. And they write me and tell me that they're mad at me or the other person that found it. But the funny thing is they're all still out there looking. It may be a hoax, but if it's a hoax, why don't you quit looking for it?
So Douglas has been quoted in saying that there's hints in Once Upon a While.
Stop.
Is that true? And what?
Stop.
Isn't that
This is what we said we were going to play.
right? Which the part I didn't care about the lead searcher part. I cared about, what did he say just before that?
When? I don't know what you mean. When? Just now?
Yeah.
Well, I can rewind it. Hang on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, if it's a hoax,
You're
why
right.
are you even out finding it? Trying to find it.
Oh, gotcha. As far as the lead searcher thing.
Yeah.
Right. So for the people who, think it's not there, why are you even?
Yeah, this is the same. Well, I just think this is same. It's not that this hunt all of a sudden had haters. This was happening beforehand. So he talks about the people that said it was a hoax. We know who we're talking about. A lot of them were vocal. Maybe some of them weren't on the blogs and things. They were very vocal about this is a hoax. This is a hoax. But I went out, but I just spent money going out. And that surprised him. It's like, why are you going out then? Just move on. Like he was saying that before. And that's exactly how people are now. So he's not in a new situation. Okay.
And some people are saying, we've seen this before. I know, but instead of trying to fast forward, we thought we would just play it. The new part.
Yeah, every time we clip something, somebody gives us a hard time. And then, yes, we have seen this one before. Yeah.
Me and tell me that they're mad at me or the other person that found it. But the funny thing is they're all still out there looking. It may be a hoax, but if it's a hoax, why don't you quit looking for it?
Yeah.
And
right
some
there.
people are still looking, which even after
Yeah.
he says it's found, I mean, this is the type of people, that we're dealing with.
Well, and I wanted to make a comment to that. I have a couple of people that want to go out to their spot just to kind of pay homage to it, to say,
Yeah. Oh, I would love to
this
go
was my
locate
spot.
if it was
Yeah.
known. Yeah.
Well, no. I'm talking
Oh.
about their love solve.
Oh,
They're going out for that last time
Gotcha.
and saying, this was my spot. I want to see if there's like an empty little box there. But this is my way to say goodbye to this chase. I think that's lovely. Some people are vacationing in the spot that they love, and that's what we're going to do. I love Yellowstone. Some people are actually still searching for the treasure. All of those things are happening. I think 2 of those are healthy. I think one of those, I'm not in the same place. Once I saw the picture of the treasure chest, that's when I let go. I wasn't totally there beforehand. Mike knows, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. Okay, so we are, okay, do you know where the next one is, Mike?
It's this. We're going to keep going until we said we were playing 3 minutes. That's what we said
Okay.
before we went live. Yeah.
Okay, I thought this was, no, I just thought this part was not, it can go off into whatever.
Okay.
So Douglas has been quoted in saying that there's hints in Once Upon a While. Is that true? And what hints are there in Once Upon a While?
Did you put a S on the end of that word?
Which word?
Did you say hint or hints? Anyway, I'm not gonna go there.
Whichever one you would like it to be. You have said, give the poem to a child. Why?
Okay.
A child has a fresh mind. And a lot of people overcook the point. I mean, they're looking so far in the future, they're overlooking something that's right in front of them. And I believe that's true. I've said, get out of the box in your thinking. And then 6 months later, I said, get back in the box. But everybody has their own gig, and they have their own ideas, and so many of them, hundreds and hundreds of them have sent me an email, Mr. Fenn, we didn't find your treasure, but I want you to know that we had the best time of our life, and that sort of thing. I mean, people are taking their whole families out, and I've had 9 emails from I think all of them were men that tell me that they were getting ready to kill themselves when they found out about the treasure. Now they're out looking for the treasure, and they forgot to kill themselves. They're going to go look for the treasure instead. So there have been some tragedies, but there's a lot of good things going on with it also.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, that was the part I was a little, I didn't know.
Part, yeah.
Yeah. So we didn't clip. There was a couple things in the middle that I don't think are pertinent right now. But we wanted to show.
Pertinent. Yeah, but I understand what you're saying. We've already showed it. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. Well, no, there was some stuff in there that we hadn't shown before but anyway, that's beside the point. The one that I wanted to get to was Forrest had 9 people and he thought they were all men that were saying, I'm going to kill myself. So he was getting emails that are saying, I'm going to kill myself. Give me a hint. Give me the solve. Give me I'm going to kill myself. And so that I'm just trying to set the stage of the things. This is well before we had the information that there was a finder. These are the things that he dealt with on a daily basis. Not so if it had gone out 8 years, that's more than 1 a year of people saying, I'm going to kill myself. And I know in the last 2 weeks, I have dealt with quite a few searchers that were in that same state. And I spent a lot of time on the phone and a lot of time on messages, a lot of time checking in. That weighs heavy on a person. So he's had to deal with that for the last, I actually don't think the first maybe year or two, but maybe the last 5, 6, 7 years, possibly. So, okay, there you go.
Now we do have the next one, which is what I have written down anyway. Let's hope it's right. Are we ready to jump into it?
Is it the do-over? Would you do it again?
No. Yeah, I think it's no, I think there's one more, but maybe it is the do-over.
Okay, we'll see. Let's
Yeah,
just
yeah,
see what
swing it.
happens.
But I think the takeaway from what we just played is that the positive far outweighs the negative as far as the thrill of the chase over the last 10 years.
Right. But that was a lot of activity and effort and management and interaction that Forrest gave. That's my point.
Gotcha. All right, I think we're doing one more. It might be 2. I'm not sure. You have to let me know. And then we'll get into the controversy. We're going to talk about it. Let's hope I got this right.
Okay, hold on a second. If you'll stop it, maybe both Redneck and RC are saying, I think maybe I had it wrong. They were talking about killing themselves. Then they got into the chase. Once they got into the chase, then they didn't, and they kind of became healthier.
Yeah.
And maybe I know both have happened, so maybe that is the case. And I take
then maybe I didn't catch what you said. What Forrest said is there are people that emailed him saying, I'm thinking of suicide, and then I got a hold of the thrill of the chase, and now I've focused on that, and I no longer want to kill myself.
Yeah.
Sorry, if you said it another way, then I missed it.
No, I did.
To go through notes and trying to figure out. I'm like the stage manager guy. I don't know. All right. Okay.
Well, I tend to have a mom voice with you. You kind of tune me out
Yeah. Well, no, I look at it as you're talking more to the people than me, but I got you.
to the people. I love
The
it.
people.
Fucking
All right.
people.
Here we go, everybody.
But one thing that goes over the heads of people that are so seriously in this thing is that this is a fun thing that I did. Everything about it was fun for me. The mystery of it, the fun of doing it, the fun of collecting the objects, the fun of writing the poem, writing the books. I mean, every day is a circus for me.
So what is the one thing that surprised you the most in this treasure hunt?
What surprised me the most, and I'm absolutely startled about it, is that there's so many crazy people out there. And I use the word as a noun, not as an adjective. Certifiably crazy. The emails I get, I mean, I've dialed 911 3 times. I had a searcher wrestling with a police officer out in my driveway on the ground wrestling. The guy knocked the door to get in my property, and then he took an axe and knocked my grandson's glass door in, and he went in and drank a beer and helped themselves. And then when we came home, I had a tooth pulled. We drove in. He's all in a big wooden chest out of my grandson's house, and it was full of linens. It was full of towels, and he had to figure that's the treasure, because it's a treasure chest and it was on my property. Let me say again categorically, the treasure is hidden at least 8.25 miles north of Santa Fe. That doesn't mean in the city limits of Santa Fe. Doesn't mean it's San Lazaro Pueblo. It doesn't mean on my property. It means north of Santa Fe.
There it is. Although now it is no longer hidden, but this was from back then.
Yeah.
Everybody.
So there's some people that are still saying that it was found not north of Santa Fe.
Right.
Some people are still saying it was at Forrest's house. Some people are still saying right now you have to break into his house, and that's how you have to figure out to get the treasure chest, etc.
People just get so obsessed over this thing. And I think he's talked a little bit about some of the issues, but I'm sure he's had more issues that the public does not know about. I'm sure there's been a lot of other searcher issues with Forrest and his family that we don't know about, that he just has not talked about. And although he gave us a little glimpse right there that he's like, some people are certifiably crazy. I mean, they're just, we don't know. It's like I've said it before, the thrill of the chase attracts this certain type of people, like moths to a flame. They latch onto it and they think they're right, and nothing will ever tell them that they're wrong.
I think anything with a big prize at the end has an addictive quality. Some gamblers get so addicted that's what they become. And that's why there's, and alcohol and drugs. And, I know somebody that, or I used to know somebody that really was into skydiving and would spend tons and tons of money. Like they needed that thrill to jump out of a plane. So it was that same type of thing. But Diana says, this doesn't seem like an ending that F would write for a spectacular treasure hunt. I agree. And I think maybe he had one ending in mind in the beginning, but the one thing that surprised him was the last 10 years. And I don't think he expected that. So will Forrest do it again? No, in my opinion.
Well,
and that is actually the one that you skipped, Mike.
I know. And do you have the start time? Because now I'm trying to
41:28.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Let's show that one.
Mike Nodine, how many clips have you missed? 97.
All of them. If you're just coming in now, you've missed all of them.
You missed all of them. No, let's see. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
And they're like topics.
But there's like 2 of them that you've already seen. So there's at least 4. So you're going to have to go back. And I dozed off. Shame on you. Lurker, Mike. Yeah. But good to see you here. I hope all is well with your family.
Yeah, Mike. We hope you're doing all right. All right, let's go to this last clip, everybody, and then we're going to talk about the controversy. Here we go. Would Forrest do it again? And remember, this is in November of last year, everybody.
Would you do this treasure hunt all over again, knowing what you know now?
No. because 4 people have lost their lives because of it. And those are tragic, but certainly I've got to say I would not do it again. And I don't know anybody that would do it.
Now you have said on
Was that it?
Yep.
We're not playing. I don't remember what was next. That's it.
Are you at 4152?
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay. Yeah. So no, he would not do it again, and that is because of the people who have
Well,
lost their
but
lives, and you know.
many people think, because they've written me, and there was even questions here, has he called this one off to do a second hunt in the Appalachians, or a second one? He's put one out. He just said he wouldn't have done the first one if it was up to him.
He's not going to do another one,
He's
everybody.
not doing
He's
another
done.
one, guys.
He's
In
done.
my opinion. Now, we're searchers. I've never asked him this, like, are you
Look,
putting a second one out? But I think if that clip doesn't tell you where he's at, I don't know what does. Like, yeah.
Well, Denise Spagley put he won't do it again, but what about the double omegas? I don't understand what that means, Denise. He says he won't do it again, which means he won't do it again. I don't know what double omega.
Maybe that's why Once Upon a While only had one omega. He was thinking of a second, and then he's like, hell no, you people are crazy. And by Once Upon a While version 2, he took the second omega out. Maybe that was a symbol for 2 treasure chests, but he even took it out of his book by the end because he's like, get me out of crazy town. I'm leaving the amusement park.
But the other thing that would be a good question, Forrest, is maybe you could tell us why the omegas. What did they mean? Maybe it has nothing to do with the treasure hunt at all. Maybe it was some other personal meaning. I mean, there's so many questions that people would have. It's just Forrest may not want to answer anything. We don't know.
Well, and Tony Risi says if Forrest keeps his place a secret, he can still be buried out there. That might be it.
Yeah, possibly, I guess. 3D Bronze says, in my opinion, more lives saved than lost. F is a good man. Thank you for that super chat.
Yeah.
And I would agree that F is a good man. Some guy says, are you on Fandango right now or Beacon Star? I'm all over Fandango because it ends soon. We should compare notes. No, I am not working on Fandango. I'm on Beacon Star and then gearing up for Vegas Dyer.
GTC is on, and he is doing weekly Zooms, Friday Fandangos.
Fandango. Yeah.
So you should definitely check in with him. Sheepdog, it sounded like he started to tear up. Aw, thank you, Forrest, for everything. We love you. Yes.
Right.
That's exactly.
Yeah, people think, well, he didn't end it when the first person lost their lives, so he's a horrible guy. But
and he hasn't even gone into many of the dramas that we know about that affected him deeply that he didn't refer to. He didn't refer to, we all know because it's public, Paco and his granddaughter being kidnapped. She was the treasure. Some of the other things that, some of the other allegations that were made, he didn't even get into those. He got into some of the things, but that was tip of the iceberg of what he goes through.
Him and his family have had issues. So John Miller with a happy Father's Day, Mike. Happy Father's Day to you too, John. Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah. It's like Forrest said, and I agree with him. He's like, people die in the Grand Canyon all the time and West Yellowstone all the time, not related, just visiting. Just, if somebody drowns in a swimming pool, do you drain the swimming pool or do you teach people how to swim? And Douglas Preston, I don't think we played it, but he went into the thing, right, where he was like, you don't go in the wilderness if you don't know what you're doing. City people are running out there to find this thing, and we have an individual responsibility, in my opinion, to watch what you're doing. Safety is the number one thing. So, yeah, Denise, that doesn't make any sense to me. I understand what you're saying because we've kind of emailed, but I don't get it. I don't understand what that. Yeah.
Well, and I think
I just personally don't get it. So
yeah, and I'm at the point where, so let's get to where we think we are now and where we think we're going in the future.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, we'll go into controversy. I don't have any problem. I have I don't know, Forrest, if you're watching, this is me. I'm gonna say it like I think.
Turn it off, Forrest. You're not gonna like it. Turn it off now. No, just kidding. Go ahead.
Well, you and I haven't talked. I worry more about you and I being on the opposite ends. So let me ask the first question. Do you believe this treasure hunt is over in retrieving a treasure chest?
Yeah, the thrill of the chase is over. The treasure chest has been retrieved. You guys
Those
saw.
are two different things.
The thrill of the chase is over because the treasure chest has been retrieved, in my opinion. Yeah.
I agree.
Okay.
Do you believe there was a finder that was not Forrest Fenn or directed by Forrest Fenn to retrieve?
I'm going to say yes, just because I'm going off of what Forrest said. In other
Okay.
words, he's put on Dale's blog, some guy from back east found it. So I tend to believe him. It sucks that there's no proof. And I think what you're looking for is proof somehow of this person, the supposed person who found it. But there is no proof. But yeah, I believe Forrest when he
We
said,
got another super chat. Let me
did I miss it?
distract you. Yeah, John Laro just did a super chat.
Hey, John, with another super chat. Thank
I'm
you.
going to ignore the chat for just a second while Mike and I just have a little heart to heart about this. Okay. So do you believe he is from Becky? Do you believe everything that you have read from Forrest at this point? That it was a man from the back east. He had not corresponded since 2018. And
Right.
that the treasure contents are he was going through them, etc.
Yeah, I mean, I go with it just because that's all we have to go on. I mean, this is what Forrest has said, and I guess I believe Forrest. Because if I don't believe, I guess the way I look at it is if I don't believe that Forrest was truthful in the statement he put on Dale's blog about it being found, how do you know it was there to begin with? How do you know that treasure chest wasn't in that office where the picture is the entire 10 years? His attorney's office, and he just decided to end it. I mean, in other words, I go with what he said because I've only had to go on what he said from the beginning.
Do you believe that Forrest has ever said contradictory things or said things that weren't exactly the truth in the last 10 years?
He has said contradictory things. Yes, I do believe that, because the big one is I know when it's going to be found. And then at other times he said, I won't know if it's found unless the finder tells me. So he has said contradictory things. I do agree with that.
Okay.
I'm
glad we talked this out.
Yeah, well, you got to give your opinion, but I also say this that people probably aren't going to like. But in my opinion, and you guys can get your pitchforks and torches ready. In my opinion, that treasure chest belonged to Forrest Fenn until it was found by somebody. And if Forrest decided to end it and wanted to go get it, that's his right. I don't believe he was obligated to leave it out there for somebody to find for the next 900 years. And you say, oh, but in the book, it says I wrote a poem and all that. Right. And all that was true. And everybody had 10 years to find it. We don't know what's going on with Forrest in those 10 years with the crazy people, with the people that have shown up at his house, with Forrest's family. After 10 years, Forrest could have changed his mind. And if that would have happened, or if it did happen or whatever, I believe, this is just my opinion, Forrest had the right to go take his property back because nobody found it. Nobody fulfilled the contract of the poem, which was follow these 9 clues. And if you find it, you can keep it. Anytime within the last 10 years, I believe Forrest could have went back and got it and called it off. Now, the problem with that is if he did that, then what he put on Dale's blog is not correct, and that's disingenuous, and that would be a horrible ending. So as of right now, I'm going with what Forrest said, that somebody from back east did find it. The poem led him exactly there, etc. But I also believe that Forrest has the right all this time to go back and get it, or to send somebody to go back and get it. What if Forrest just said, I'm done. There's too much going on. And again, in 10 years, things change. I'm sure Forrest's outlook on the thrill of the chase is different 10 years later than it was the day the book came out 10 years ago. Now, if Forrest contacted somebody, let's say a searcher, and said, go get it, you can keep it. Here's a solution, go get it. That's a hard one to swallow, but I still think he was within his rights to do that. What do you think, kpro? Because it's still his. Forrest owns that until somebody finds it. You know what I mean? And we've all had the 10 years to go find it. So that's just my opinion. What do you think?
Okay, so I believe the chase is over. I
Mhm.
believe the treasure chest has been retrieved. I believe
Due to the pictures, right, that you've seen.
Yeah, the pictures. I was kind of, I don't know, all of that beforehand. Hold on, we got a couple super chats.
Super chat coming in. That's it. Unsubscribe. Get the manager. Somebody left the treasure. I know it's
Karen Lazars is going to file a complaint. Don't worry on your behalf, 3D. Just give me a second.
That's why I said you guys are going to get your pitchforks and torches, but that's just my opinion.
I just didn't know I was, but go ahead.
Matthew Coughlin with the super chat. Well said, Mike. Most people would have called off their treasure hunt after the first death threat and been justified in doing so. Forrest deserves credit for tolerating as much as he did, regardless. That's a good point. In my opinion, Forrest hid something for us to find. At any time, he could have went back and got it, but I don't think you or me have to justify the reasoning. Forrest could have went back and got it for any reason. In other words, it doesn't have to be because somebody died. It could be for whatever reason Forrest has, and I don't think maybe he's obligated to tell us if he did decide to end it. But in other words, it's up to Forrest. It was his treasure hunt. It's his
Can
thrill
we
to
take
take.
a short second? I need to put these
Yeah,
on
yeah, go ahead.
Sammy. Hold on.
Oh, she wants to say something? Okay.
I wanted to say happy Father's Day, Mike.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. And happy Father's Day to Forrest, too. And all the
Okay.
fathers out there. I thought it was going to be about did Forrest.
Oh, she's not. She's like, I'm not saying. She's not happy right now about the ending. So she's like, I didn't say it to Forrest. I'm like, okay, so cute. Anyway, that's why she was so sassy earlier. She's like, I wanted to say Happy Father's Day. I don't care about the guy part. I was like, okay, you can. So thank you, Sammy. Okay, so let me keep going through my. So if Forrest ended it because of the crazy town, and actually said, I ended this because it was insanity. That's a hard one. I don't know how I'd feel because I don't know. Oh, that definitely has not happened. But could he have
What has not
retrieved it?
Sorry.
He has not retrieved it and said he retrieved it and just called it
right.
off.
Forrest, yeah,
So-
Forrest did not say I took it back or I directed somebody to take it back. He says,
Right.
but I want to speak to that when you're done. Go ahead.
Okay, so the next step is, could he have retrieved it because of craziness and then put out, it was a man from the back east and all of that? That one is still possible, not very possible, but possible in my head because I haven't seen enough about the finder.
Right.
I actually am of the belief that there's going to be a little bit more coming, that we are going to have that rectified in our head. Just like a week ago, I was like, has the treasure chest actually been retrieved? Because
Right.
here's most of me. Most of me is sane, I think. Most of me, when he called it off, said, okay, there's a finder and this is it. And that's all that. But there's been so much crazy. I thought, like somebody said, did Forrest actually die? And this is, some big conspiracy. That's part of the reason I called Forrest, just to make sure. No, there were so many conspiracies. So do I think it would be okay if he did that? It doesn't feel right. So I'm going to say no. I'm not going to say I would blame him, but it wouldn't feel right if he did that this far in. I don't think he knew what he was signing up for. He
Right.
said that. He didn't anticipate the insanity that was coming. And he only talked about some of it. I know about some other pieces and all that. Any chance he was blackmailed to disclose the location? I don't think so. I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't, I can't.
There's been so much blackmail. There's been so much nastiness. I don't think, what could he have been blackmailed other than someone actually having his grandchild, like in possession, or Peggy, or
You said
like
there's been so much blackmail.
there's been so much nastiness by searchers saying those sorts of
Oh,
things.
gotcha. Okay.
I mean, he has recordings. He has people with secret emails. He has people that,
Yep.
and they have in the past. So I just think, blackmail is too much of a term, but he has been threatened with, oh, I'll expose you. I will say nasty things about you. And they have, and they've put it out and they tried. And
So,
yeah.
all right, go ahead. I'll let you finish before I want to.
So do I believe, okay, so I believe the preponderance of the evidence states the chase is over and the treasure chest has been received. Does the preponderance of the evidence say to me that there's a man from back east, he retrieved it a week ago, the treasure chest and all of the contents are with the finder, and they saw Forrest and all of that has come out? My jury is still out at this point.
Okay.
Let me give you an example.
That's fair. Yeah.
Could it come out later that it wasn't a man from the back east because he was trying to protect a woman, international woman, or a man from California or something? And so he put out something that maybe he was born there but doesn't live there, or something. We talked about it. It's called Fenn speak. So could there be a Fenn speak in this, that not every single fact is correct? Yes, I believe that's possible. But a week ago, when some people were telling me they were going boots on the ground, I was like, I kind of get it. Now I think if you go boots on the ground, So I'm waiting to see this 30 days before I get my pitchforks out. I mean, some people within 10 days are going class action lawsuits. It's like, oh, you guys, let's just wait a little bit and see. I might be where you are. I don't think I'll ever be with class action lawsuit or any of that stupidity. But I might be like, oh, maybe that isn't exactly the case, or maybe this is, or maybe that, I don't know. But right now, where am I? I am, the chase is over. The chest has been retrieved, and I so want to know more. Do I believe that the finder, that's the other thing that you said that you were wrong about, Mike, so I will outline that. I don't believe that the finder owes us anything. Let's take a step back. Where could we be right now? That treasure chest was retrieved and we didn't know it, and we consistently for years and years to come have deaths, have people spending money, and have all these problems. I do not believe that would be okay. So I think Forrest, even though he's taken the heat, either for the finder, for the, he has done his best for the community in making sure that we don't continuously go out. If there's any searcher deaths going boots on the ground, it's not Forrest. That, I mean, they should have already gotten there at this point.
Sean says at the end of the day, it's none of our business. Oh, that's interesting. But a lot of people have so much invested in this, they think it is their business. They think they're owed the solution. I kind of lean toward that. I think we should get a solution. I just not saying if it should come from Forrest or the finder. But let me give you this conspiracy theory. See what you guys think of this. Since you already got the torches out, let's just might as well finish it. This is what it says on Dale's blog. You want to talk about preponderance of the evidence, right? It says a treasure has been found. Forrest proved it's been found by the pictures he posted. Was it 10 days later that he had all it's in an office somewhere? It was under a canopy of stars in the lush forested vegetation of the Rocky Mountains, and it had moved from the spot where I hid it 10 years ago. Okay, that's to me, that makes sense. Nobody found it. It was there when the person did find it. I do not know the person who found it, but the poem in my book led him to the precise spot. See, he says here he didn't know the person who found it, but then was it a news article that he says, where is it that he says, I had a communication from this person in 2018?
I think, oh, that was in the updated pictures.
Okay.
That was
so
the
he says,
information in the pictures.
Gotcha. So he says, I don't know the person, but they did send me an email in 2018, in other words. And I'm assuming that means he never emailed them back, but we don't know. He got a communication from this person in 2018. 2020, June, this person goes to find it. Okay. I congratulate him. The search is over. Look for more information and photos in the coming days, which Forrest held true to his promise, and he provided photos. Okay. So what if, for whatever reason, that fateful Saturday, June 6th, was it? Forrest was like, I'm going to end this thing. I got to end this thing for whatever reason. We're never going to know what the private reasons of Mr. Forrest Fenn are. But he's like, I got to end this. How should I end it? Now I can just come out and tell everybody I'm going to end it and I'm going to send Shiloh to go get it or whatever. And it's over. Or he could have chose to take a searcher who emailed him, who was close back in 2018. And what if he emailed that person and said, you know what? It's right. You were right there. Just go get it. I need this thing over. Just go get it. Is Forrest out of bounds in doing that?
Shame on you.
Yeah.
Absolutely he is. No.
Hang on.
No.
Thank you for that.
All right. Super chat from Craig Carter. Thank you, kpro and Cowlazars, for your continued The Thrill of the Chase community support. Thank you, Craig Carter. We appreciate it. So do you think if he in any way directed a searcher to go get it, it was wrong?
There.
Yeah. I got you.
William is saying it's blinding him. The sun is
Yeah,
blinding
it is
him.
a little kooky, but that's
sorry.
Do you think if Forrest in any way told a searcher to go get it or gave somebody hints or anything like that, that's out of bounds, that was a horrible thing to do?
Oh my God, you've gone from handed it to people to gave them hints.
No. I'm just saying what if. I'm not saying that's what happened. We're having a discussion here, right?
No, I just died.
Oh.
Would that be out of bounds if he decided I'm just going to give someone secret hints, because he's been accused of it for the last 9 years.
Right.
So he's just handing it over. Mike, I want this to be done. You were at Rumbaugh Creek. You were so close. Just go 10 feet over, pick it up.
You have a new house you need to pay for. So here you go.
And Chaseopoly can only get you so far.
Right. I mean, what if in other words, what I'm trying to, I guess, go through the logic is if I think that chest belongs to Forrest Fenn until somebody finds it, and that he could go out and get it and retrieve it whenever he wants to. And to me, that's still fair and within the acceptable contract of the poem and the book and all that stuff. Would it also be fair if he decides to give it to somebody?
No.
You don't think that's fair?
No. Too many people have given up life and hundreds of thousands of dollars and no,
I understand what you're saying. So people have invested the time, money, energy, blood, sweat, tears of the last 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
then you believe that Forrest in no way, shape, or form could end it, that's out of bounds. That would be a horrible.
No, here's what I do think.
Mhm.
Let's say he said Feb 4 update this year. Ooh, I have a cat that wants to be on me. Let's say Feb 4, he decides and says, hey, everybody, I've done it tired and now I'm weak. I'm 90. I want to be with Peggy in my last few days. If this is not found by October
I'll give
1st,
an end date.
like
Okay.
Fandango or like whatever treasure hunt, and said, this is going to be over, you better find it now or we're done. I'm going to go retrieve it and
Mhm.
it's going to be done. And I'll donate it to a museum. I don't want any more death threats. I don't want any more issues. I don't want anybody more at my house. I
Right.
don't want my granddaughter and I don't want any of this. I'm calling it off and donating it. I would be okay with that.
Instead of just saying on that Saturday, it's been found, everybody. In other words, it's over. He didn't give us any info. He just said it's been found. That email.
Okay, no, but let me play the opposite.
Hmm?
If you were to do this over again, let's say you were the advisor of Forrest, and the minute that you got an email from the finder that confirmed it with the keyword, the pictures, the location,
Mhm.
and you are thinking of the community's safety, so you call it off immediately and say, guys, I don't care about media. I don't care about getting it on these all Today show. Get it out because people are boots on the ground right now. Would you advise him differently now? Because that's what we're critiquing.
Advise them to do it differently than.
Oh, then wait and see, and he
Well,
needs to have everything. He needs
this-
to have the solve out, or we're gonna
Yeah.
crucify him. And he needs to have riots at his house. And why didn't he do it in the first 3 days? And oh, he waited.
This is just a thought exercise, everybody. So let's be perfectly clear. This is just the opinions of me and kpro. We're going back and forth on a thought exercise.
Mike's wrong.
But if Forrest just decided to end it for any reason, and we may never know the reason. In other words, it doesn't have to be because somebody died. What if the first time somebody showed up at Forrest Fenn's house, he could have been like, well, this is over. I'm not going through this again. It could be any reason in the world. And in my opinion, Forrest has the right to end it for any reason in the world. So as an advisor, it's not why are you justified? He's justified in doing whatever he wants because the treasure chest is his. The
don't
question
agree.
would then
I don't.
become,
It's not
how do
his.
you end it?
No, he already
It is
said.
his.
I don't
believe-
agree.
Well, until it's found by somebody, I believe it was his.
And there's a question of why are we even talking about this right now? Because if we're going to have more information in a week or two, why are we talking about the conspiracy theories at this point? I think it's okay to have a little bit of the thought exercise, just like the people want to talk about their solves and why they were right in case it comes out later. It's going to come out later. So why do we need to do this? I'm okay with doing it a little bit, but why are we doing this, Mike? Why?
Because people in the community are talking about it. Lisa says, Cowlazars, I agree with you. Carrie Galloway says, Forrest Fenn has the right to end it. I agree. So just in general, does anytime, because it's let's just forget about Forrest Fenn. Anybody that does one of these treasure hunts, Map of the Dead, Breakfast Tea and Bourbon, The Secret, Fandango, all that. Are you there, Kpro? It looks like you froze. Must better not be my internet. Let me see. Let me make sure I'm still alive. Yep, I think I'm still here. So come back in, Kpro, if you can. In general, with any of these treasure hunts that we all partake in, Masquerade, does that person who created it have a right to end it before it's found? That's kind of the general question, right? That's kind of the question that we're all talking about. Nice, N2 cable. And in my opinion, I think a person who creates a treasure hunt does have the right to end it because Forrest didn't have in his mind that somebody was going to come to his home or these quote unquote crazy people were going to go to the lengths they did, or that people would die looking for it. So some of you might be like, well, when somebody died, then it was okay for him to end it. But for any other reason, it's not. That's not your decision. And that's not my decision. That's Forrest Fenn's decision. He's the one with the information. He's the one that gets emails from all the searchers. He's the one that, goes through all this. So I think Forrest had the right to end it up until somebody found it. Now the question is, did he end it or did somebody find it? I have to go with what Forrest put out on Dale's blog and that somebody found it. But it just, me and Kpro were talking about it earlier today. And I'm like, do you want to talk about this controversy that people are talking about? And she was like, yeah, let's talk about it. Because that's what we do on this show. We talk about things for the community. We provide a forum for people to come and share their ideas. And yeah, so I have to believe Forrest when he says somebody from back east found it. and it's up to that person, especially the where and why is up to the finder, because he's always said it would be up to the finder. Now, Watto Man 699 says the treasure chest was not his once he abandoned it to the finder. He gave up all right, title, and interest in it. This was what F's own lawyer said to one of the crazies who was suing him. Okay, I don't know the legal argument, so I don't. Maybe that's true. I mean, but how does Forrest Fenn do that? Just by the act of placing it somewhere? Is that when he abandoned it? The act of putting it in a poem and publishing the book? Is that when he legally abandoned it? Like, how do you say what's abandoned? And even if he did abandon it, can't he change his mind and go get it? Can't he follow the 9 clues? He never said anybody can go get it but me. What did Forrest say way back when? When it reaches 10 million, I might go back and get it. So isn't that a way for him to say, I can go get it if I want to? There she is. You back? I thought it was me for a minute. I was going to say, I upgraded my internet.
No, we have
Yeah,
been.
and Lisa Woodson wants to make very clear this is not legal advice for anyone reading this. From Lisa, for anybody in the chat, for our show, this is not legal advice, anybody. And what do you think of this, kpro? Watto Man 699 says the treasure chest was not his once he abandoned it to the finder. He gave up all right, title, and interest in it. This was what F's own lawyer said to one of the crazies who was suing him. Do you believe that?
Yes.
Okay, so if he did in fact give up, can't he go back and get it and then get ownership once again?
No.
Well, remember his comment.
I said so. There's no logical reason why, but no.
Well, remember, guys, there's the legal aspect, there's the ethical aspect, and then there's just what Forrest did. You know what I mean? He left it out there for somebody to find it. But I just was saying treasure hunts in general. Does the creator of a treasure hunt have the right to call it off or go retrieve it? And that's kind of the ethical question, right?
Yeah.
Because there's things that have transpired in the 10 years that Forrest probably.
I think he legally has possibly a right. I don't know because I'm not a lawyer nor play one on YouTube. It just doesn't feel right. I think this is a really, really good lesson to the people that are out there that are doing these big hunts, like the H's out there and the others. Man, you got to know what you're signing up for. Yeah.
Yes, Joshua, to answer your question, I believe he would have used the term man for anybody that was legal age to go get it. Yeah, I do.
Yeah, that's his generation. Many people were like, oh, he always says man or he. Yeah, that's his generation.
Now, Watto Man also says good points. When he put it there, he can still go get it, obviously, but he's a man of integrity, and to go back and get it would be a betrayal to the searchers. And I agree with that. And that's why when he puts on Dale's blog, a guy from back east found it, I do believe him that somebody found it. I mean, if Forrest wanted to end it, I think he just could have came out and said, due to this, that, and this, you guys didn't even know about this other one, I'm going to end it.
Well, Diana said it way back. I just wish Forrest would tell us and talk to us. That's what I like. If he came out and this is what, and I know Forrest, you don't need to hear my lectures anymore, and I promise I won't do it. If he came out during crisis management, you try to put out enough information that you still cover yourself. But if Forrest came out with a quote that said something like, I am dealing with some legal issues right now. I will get back to the community. That is much better than I'll be back, in my opinion. But that doesn't mean that he's wrong. I just think that would put a lot of the reasonable searchers kind of at pause.
Yeah, there's a couple things. Uh-oh, can't hear you.
I know. I was talking to kidlets. I got stuff happening here.
So Captain Marvel says, watch the interview he did with H. Charles Beals. He explains who the owner is. Watch the interview that Candy and kpro did with H. Charles Beal. He explains who the owner is. Well, that's for his treasure hunt. Now, again, we're talking about legal issues. We're talking about ethical issues, and we're talking about what Forrest Fenn owes the community. Those are kind of 3 different things, in my opinion. But William's got a good point. He says, kpro, the loophole in that logic is that there is an actual person other than Forrest who went to retrieve it. So by definition, someone did find the chest. But I do agree that if Forrest gave any information to anybody to go get it, that would be a betrayal. In other words, if he told Shiloh, just go get it, Forrest needs to come out and say that. And because he didn't do that on Dale's blog, I believe him when he says this person found it from back east.
Well, but let's go with your logic and talk about something that's a little bit more plausible in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
What if you are the finder and he was going to say, oh, that guy from Las Vegas, and you were concerned about that. So you say to him, to keep my status as anonymous, can you please say it's from a guy from back east because technically
Oh, wait.
you're from back east.
So in your little scenario here, you're saying Forrest emailed me, said, here it is, go get it. I just want this thing over with.
No, let's
Oh,
get
what'd you
that
say?
craziness out of our mind. You find the treasure chest.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Then you say to Forrest, Forrest says, can I say it's a guy from Nevada? And you say, no, I want to keep my,
Right.
I need to be anonymous here. So can you just say a guy from back east because I'm from Michigan? Do you
Is that
think that's
honoring,
okay?
is that honoring what the finder wants, or is it Forrest lying to everybody by telling a
How's
no-
that lying? He's
untruth?
from back. You are from, where are you from, Mike?
Oh, I see. I'm from Detroit. So but when he says I didn't know them. So in other words, just in general, what you're saying is if the finder is somebody, everybody in this chat room would know the name. It's somebody we all know in the search community, but they're like, Forrest, there's no way I want anybody to know it's me. Just say it was somebody from back east.
Yeah, and that's Carrie saying he doesn't lie like that. Why? That's not his style. What are
Right.
we talking about? I think they're all okay. Things are starting to point. Here's the thing. He said it was found. I believe it was found.
Mhm.
And I think we both agree. Or he said the chase is over. I believe he said the treasure chest has been retrieved. And he showed pictures. We believe that. I'm going to believe, I think shortly, there's a man from the back east, and I believe Forrest is going to give us more information. I
Yeah,
believe
I
he's
think
going to
so
give us the state, and I believe the solve will eventually come out because his last interview said, and it was like on day 5 or 6, I will be putting out, I'll be putting out the state and the solve may be out. Something like that. I believe we're getting more. We're just anxious. I get it.
Denise Bagley's got a good point. She says, in my opinion, Forrest knows what we know, which is nothing. But that treasure chest to be there, the finder had to be there. Who doesn't agree that the finder wasn't in that room with Forrest when he was going through the
Oh, there's a conspiracy theory on that. And look at Lisa's comment because you and Lisa were bonding a second ago. What if it was the
Oh, that's
finder's
true.
attorney that went there? And that's why he can't congratulate the finder because he even wanted an anonymous because he didn't know Forrest. He didn't want this crazy
That's a
town.
good point.
Yeah.
So the finder could have hired a lawyer to go show it to Forrest and prove, quote unquote, it's been found. But Forrest may not even know who the finder is other than that email from 2018. If that's all Forrest has is an email from 2018, anybody can make an email. You can spoof it.
Maui Bob
Never
says
thought of that.
you just gotta
Forrest
wait.
does not know who the finder is. And that's why we do these videos to come up with different ideas, right? Different scenarios on what's going on.
These are the things that might be weighing heavy. Maui Bob says you just got to wait for the next letter to Mike.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. But I would say to the finder, you can put all this to rest very easily. Just come out with a statement through a lawyer, through something, through, I don't know, an anonymous way. But in order to do that, you've got to prove it somehow.
Well,
The
but
only
here's
person
the
who can
question.
prove it is Forrest, really.
If he said right now, I'm dealing with legal issues, those legal issues might be the finder's lawyer. It might be the dismissal that just happened. It might be the lawsuit that just happened. It might be a future lawsuit. That encompasses many things. He could
Right.
say, I'm dealing with family issues. Family issues could be the issues of the family having to deal with some of the crazy people. Maybe Peggy is ill. Maybe he got ill. I think he sounded fine. So I don't think any of this, but he could make a broad statement that would make us understand without having to reveal too much.
Yeah, Forrest, if you could clarify. Forrest Fenn says, what?
Do you
Well,
know?
we want you to say something.
Oh, wait,
What?
but there are two things you just said.
What?
You know that there used to be a column called Fenn Clarifies on Thor? That was the actual.
Yeah, I do remember that. I do remember.
Fenn Clarifies.
And that would be the perfect venue for us, for you to put out something. If Forrest would just come out and say, you know what, it was a lawyer who contacted me. I don't know who the finder is. That would be a way to get off the heat, so to speak, from Forrest, I think, because that's a valid theory that I find it, I get it home, I hire a lawyer, and I'm like, you take it to Santa Fe and deal with Forrest. I don't want anybody, including Forrest, to know who I am. Because if Forrest knows, maybe that's to protect Forrest from lawsuits. Maybe Forrest can honestly go into court if that's whatever that ever happens, and just say, I don't know who found it. I know a lawyer. That's all I know.
But let's stop for a second and think. These are the things that we think are reasonably plausible. What are the things that are not plausible at all and you couldn't even invent, but are probably happening factually right now?
And walking them real quick, walking them online and says, define know. What does it mean to know someone? Their name. That's all Forrest. If Forrest knows the name, he knows who it is. Forrest could get a private investigator to investigate. You're going to find a person, in my opinion, if you know the name and you know they're from back east. And if they have $1 million in a treasure chest, you're going to know. You're going to figure out who that is.
Well, somebody said maybe the reason he's not coming out is the finder hurt themselves, boots on the ground, or in a hospital. And I was thinking maybe that's true. I don't find it likely, but
Oh.
what if it's a 5% chance? Let's take Vegas odds. What if it's the long shot, but that's actually what's happening? And he doesn't want to come out and say the guy's in a hospital because God, people will go to the hospitals and try to figure something out or whatever.
What if the guy is still in Santa Fe? He's been in Santa Fe for 2 weeks in a hotel room, and he's been talking to Forrest every day and trying to figure all these legal issues out or whatever issues that need to be figured out. I mean, there's a lot of what ifs. But I would just say, in my opinion, the person who does a treasure hunt has a right to call it off. But I think you're right, kpro, that advance notice should be given. So in Vegas Die, for example, back to 2008, Vegas Die, Stephen ended it on a certain day, and he came out 6 months before and said, on this day, it's going to end. So you got to find it by this date. That's the right way to do it if you're going to end something.
Well, and Carrie asked, this is the really hard hitting question because this is plausible. What if aliens found it? Let's talk about conspiracy.
Okay. And you broke up again, Chris. Yeah, it must be her internet, everybody. Or I'm doing it. I just don't want to hear. No, I'm not doing it. The house husband diaries. What's up, Carter? He says, would the finder really give the treasure chest to a lawyer who then gives it to Fenn and the finder is not there? Yeah, I think it's plausible. If it's just somebody that's like, I'm not dealing with the crazy people. I'm not dealing with any of this. Lawyer, here, go show it to Forrest so he can put out his pictures and everybody can leave me the hell alone. I think that is a possible solution. It's possible. Watto Man says F cannot reveal the solve. That would give a weapon to the crazies who are suing him. They would adopt it and say, see, I had the right solve. This other guy stole it from me. I think the opposite, Watto Man. I think if Forrest gave out the right solve, everybody would be like, oh, we're wrong. 90% of people are going to be in the wrong state. But the people that are crazy, they're not going to believe the right solve because they're crazy. You know what I mean? There's no reasoning with these people. So I don't think Forrest putting out the solve helps or hinders the crazy people because they're crazy for a reason. And again, if you think I'm talking about you when I say crazy people, I'm not. I'm just using that as a term that anybody could fall into. And all of us are crazy in some way, shape, or form. But I do think it's a good conversation. But just to be clear, I do believe that Forrest, when he put it on Dale's blog, I do believe it was a guy from back east that found it. Now, when Forrest says the poem took him exactly there, does he know that because the finder told him the solution, laid it out, whether it was in person or through an email or whatever it was? Or is Forrest just saying the only way to that treasure chest is through the poem? So I'm going to put that in there, even though I don't know the solution from the finder yet. I don't know. Is AGK in the house? I just saw somebody. I don't see. If you are, what's up, Toby? Oh, Toby, I'm sending you a numbered coin to go into your treasure hunt, and that will go in the mail Monday. If you are, in fact, in the room. I don't see you, though. Jem says on Thor, Forrest posted on Dale's site in October of 2019, suspicion that someone had the chest and could be anonymous. Well, Forrest has to know that that was a possibility, that whoever finds it could want to remain anonymous. What if somebody found it and never told Forrest, just took it home and was like, I'm not telling anybody. Let all the searchers look for the next 900 years. I mean, you'd like to say whoever finds it wouldn't do that to everybody, but that's a possibility too. I'm just going to take it. I'm going to go to the pawn shop, or I'm going to give it to my grandkids, or I'm going to do whatever, but I'm just not going to tell anybody, including Forrest, that I found it. Luckily, that didn't happen. I mean, that would have been horrible for it to not be out there, and we're all out there looking for it, thinking it was. You good, kpro? Is it just your internet or are you jumping off?
Oh, no. We have gaming and Netflix now
gotcha.
in our world, so I took everybody off. So I apologize.
Good times.
This isn't something I've had before. Okay.
Kerry Galloway says, I think the finder told him his solve, and I think it was very important for Forrest Fenn that the poem actually led someone to the treasure. I would agree with that. I think that's very important to Forrest as well, that somebody actually used the poem to get the treasure, like he always said was the only way to get to the treasure.
Well, and Diana, 100% of searchers believe that the solve would be revealed in the end. I envisioned Forrest sitting in his fireplace explaining his clues in the book. I agree with you, except for I have told many searchers, I have experience with books and I have experience with movies or documentaries. There is money to be made that can't be made in 10 days. So I agree with you that I think we all envisioned. I don't think we ever thought we would be at this spot right now. I think we all envisioned that we were going to have the solve. I just don't think we realized how anxious we would be and how unreasonable we think Forrest is for not giving it to us in 10 days.
How devastated people would be when they heard the news that it's actually been found.
Right.
It's like, what do you mean it's been found? That's impossible. Well, no, it's not. I mean, if you thought it was impossible, why were you out looking for it as many times as you
Well,
did?
and Shannon, Odious Soul, brought this up. She went on live yesterday and she said, but Forrest has said that person has the rights for their book deals and this and that. What if Forrest just put the solve out without you being okay with it? And you just now lost your book rights. And there's, I think, hundreds of thousands of dollars to be had there.
But I think, in my opinion, there's more to it than that. I think there's a reason that Forrest is leaving it up to the finder, because in our interview, he said, there's a story there and it's significant, but I'm leaving it to the finder. So there's something else going on other than just the treasure chest, in my opinion. I hope we know what it is someday, but the finder has got to work all that out on how they're going to release it. Toby is in the chat room. What's up, Toby? And I let him know I am sending his numbered coin on Monday.
Wait.
At a package.
Toby, Eunice?
Yeah, he's in the chat room.
He's not allowed to be here. You are on writer's retreat. You
Ah,
are not so I'm calling Shelly.
That's funny.
I'm telling on Dad.
Yeah, get that book done, would you? We need another treasure hunt.
I know it.
And now Rodney Greenway says, what if it's man alone? We forgot all about him, and he emailed F his solution back in 2018, if I remember correctly, and he's from back east, but he put LOL at the end. It could be anybody. I mean, you could say, what if it's anybody, right? I mean, anybody could have found it. We can guess all day. We're not going to know.
Well, I think there's
until
four
they want to be known.
tubers. There's 4 tubers that have said they are, and I don't believe Man Alone is one of them. But here's an interesting question. John Wood, is AGK worried about the crazies after the Forrest Fenn warning clip about treasure hunts? I think, this is my opinion, AGK is learning from that maverick that kind of led the way. And I think that's the reason they're doing a proxy. I think that's the reason they're saying the finder must agree to an interview, and that the finder, it must be stated that it was found. I mean, I think they are setting up and learning from the Forrest Fenn hunt. But whether they're worried about it or not, I'm going to let him.
Toby, I have a question for you as someone that is planning a treasure hunt. And if you want to come on right now, I don't know where you're at, if you're in a hotel room or something.
He says Shelly's asleep.
Right, I saw that. But if you want to come on to answer this, just email me and I will email you the Zoom invite. As someone who is planning a treasure hunt, do you reserve the right to end it at any time you want for any reason?
Oh, that is a good question.
And if that's the case, do you have to explain the reason, or can you just end it? So in other words, if you do your treasure hunt and somebody's showing up at your house, somebody's showing up at Shelly's house, you have all kinds of issues of certain people, do you have the right to end it? In my opinion, you absolutely do. Or do you feel that you are obligated to leave it out there for somebody to find? Because
no, I believe we both agree.
Hunt, yeah.
I believe we both agree that he absolutely does, or anybody absolutely does.
So you believe Forrest did have the right to end it?
I believe Forrest has. No, I said I think Forrest should, if he wanted to end it, should say this is the date it ends.
Right,
you have until this date, etc. I don't believe he should secretly send someone, invent that there's a person. Well, that's not what you said.
No, and I didn't say I thought he did that. I was trying to say in his little announcement on Dale's blog, could he have bent the truth and that still be true statements? And really, no. With what's on Dale's blog, the person from back east had to have found it. Otherwise, Forrest Fenn straight up lied, and I don't believe he did that. So
yeah, I don't.
So you do believe Forrest had the right to end it. You just don't. You just think it had to be done a certain way. In your opinion, it should have been done a certain way.
I think, unfortunately, he committed himself more than just to go and retrieve it based on the amount of people, etc. And somebody said Toby's is going to be 10 grand. There won't be as many crazy people than a $1 million treasure hunt.
Yeah,
I agree with
hope.
Yeah, people won't spend hundreds of thousands of dollars losing their. You won't lose a $200,000 house over a $10,000 treasure hunt. I wouldn't think. The allure of the $1 million is what I think attracted the crazies. Yeah.
Okay. Yes,
So
AGK says yes, always the right to end it. Reserve the right to end it. I do not believe Fenn ended it. I believe the finder ended it. I also do as well. You know, in our interview we did with Forrest, we said, how does this end? And we said, what will happen after you die? And Forrest says, it will continue on until something ends it. That was his
there
exact
is
quote.
more to that.
Something ends it. He didn't say until somebody finds the treasure chest, right? His exact
No.
words were, it
No.
will continue on until something ends it. No what?
No.
No
He
what?
put a disclaimer on that, and we're going to need to show. That's the clip that I went, oh, I look back and I wonder.
Well, what do I have it right? He did say it will continue
He
until
did
something.
say that, but he said something
Okay.
just before that. That he
Oh,
had
okay.
little disclaimer.
Oh,
asterisk.
can we play it? I don't know if I have
No,
another
no,
show.
not tonight.
Another show.
Not tonight, but it was one that made me go, oh.
But I agree with you. If Forrest would decide to end it, I believe he's in his right. You're right. He can't
Right.
now say somebody found it, but they really didn't. That's wrong, and I don't believe he did that.
Yeah. Well, but Captain brings up a good
nice,
point.
Okay, good call. They're establishing an LLC to isolate them from being sued for their treasure hunt, so that's a good call.
Right.
Yeah.
But AGK said that they will give extra clues and to get someone to find it. They have a 1-year horizon. So at a certain point, they're going to start to put more clues out because they want it found and then go on to the next one. So it's kind of apples and oranges. Yeah.
Maybe the police were pressuring Forrest after that snowmobile guy. The police have pressured Forrest for what, the last 5 years? I don't think.
Yes.
Forrest could, in my opinion, Forrest could have ended it anytime he wanted to. It's just, you don't go on Dale's blog and say it was ended if it wasn't. So I believe the guy from back east did actually find it. I think a lot of the controversy in the discussion is how could this guy didn't find it? Like, you don't believe it. Like, they're not smart enough to find it because I'm not smart enough to find it. You know what I mean? That's why people are like, I think he lied and he had Shiloh go get it, because they don't believe anybody was smarter than themselves.
Well, when I got the email, I started a new email. Forrest, did you actually send me that email? His answer back was yes. Right. And I'm like, I started a new one. Forrest, does that mean that the treasure's actually been found? Like, we had to do like, yeah, we went back and forth.
Believe it. I remember on the couch, I was eating ice cream and you're like, the treasure's been found. And I just went, which treasure hunt are we talking about? And then you're like, no, the treasure. And I'm like, oh, what? You're like, we got to go live. Get up. Let's go. We got to go live. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you were like, let's find the right thumbnail. And I'm like, let's get online. As I'm going, Forrest, are you sure? Like, is this you, Forrest? And we had a little way to communicate. And he was, yeah. Yeah.
Shoney 71 says, Cal, why would he tell us late last year to expect surprises this year? We don't know what the surprises were. Williams, yeah, I can't answer that. I don't know why he said that. I don't know if it's still going to be a surprise.
Well, okay, let's go with the obvious that came out. The Artie book came out after that.
Yeah, his granddaughter's the book. Yeah, that could have been it. The autobiography that got canceled could have been what he was
Cynthia disclosed that. Yep.
Now, that's interesting. Read Gypsy's Kiss.
I do not believe the guy from back east found the treasure. He's the buyer of the treasure. Yeah. So I told you about this. AGK believes, and I said this earlier, is that website that said that they found it and they wanted to sell it to somebody. They finally sold it. And the guy that showed up at Forrest's house is the guy that bought it. Some like oil tycoon. I don't know that, but I'm just guessing. And it wasn't the finder. And that's the reason when somebody asked earlier, why didn't Forrest congratulate the finder? Because the finder didn't show up at his house.
But then wouldn't it be an incorrect statement when Forrest says the poem led him exactly to it? If this guy bought it, he didn't solve the poem. He just bought it from somebody. He said,
no, because that is the finder.
Found it. What's that?
Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Oh, well, no. In other words, his statement says a guy from back east found it and the poem led him exactly to it. If this guy bought it from somebody, then the poem didn't lead him to it. The poem led whoever the people are that sold it to him, I'm assuming, right? So AGK, you believe that website where they say they've had it for a year now?
Yes.
Why would you believe that? Like,
okay. So Toby, you know how I tell you I don't. You know how I tell you that I don't talk a lot treasure talk with Mike. Now you know it's true. Forrest, Toby and I have talked in length about this several times. So.
Brian Eagle says they said they moved the treasure and sold the new location, and that's not what F said. So yeah, I don't understand why anybody believes anybody that says anything without any proof. That's all. I can make a website and say I found it 5 years ago, guys. Why do you think Forrest let me do the coins? Because he knew I had it. I mean, anybody can say anything. You got to show me some proof. You got to show me something that proves it. That's all. That's just me. I'm from Missouri. You got to show me.
Wait, but when I say I'm not 100% bought into the guy from back east, but you're like, but Forrest doesn't lie. You just said you got to show me something. Which way is it, Dr.
We're
Cowlazar?
waiting for the finder, the guy from back east, to show us something, and I'm waiting
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Forrest says, read the statement. It doesn't say that. Can somebody post the website or email me the website? Because I don't remember what the
No.
website is.
No, we can't. No,
We can't.
no, we're not giving this airtime. No offense.
Oh no, I'll just read it. I'm not going to show it. I'll just read it.
Oh,
in
it
other
goes
words-
on for pages. And
Oh, okay. And somebody email me that website, and I'll do it offline, and maybe we'll do a show about it another time, because we are running it for 2 hours
Yeah,
here.
Mike's going to do a show on it. I don't believe it, so I'm not going to give it airtime. I also have 200 people that say that they. I have
Right.
20 people that have said they have the treasure chest. Let's give them airtime.
I was just wondering why AGK believes it. That's all. So maybe we got to have Toby on to explain it at some point. Not tonight, but a future show. That's all.
You can go on.
Yeah, don't give them the attention. You're right. I don't want to give, because I don't believe it. So. Merwin Homer says, kpro Cal, I hope you like what comes to you in the mail. I have a
Frog,
package at the
frog,
mail that came
frog,
in Saturday. I'm going
frog,
to get it tomorrow.
frog,
So
frog.
on Monday night's show on the Hint of Riches, I will open that package, but it just might be a Vegas die book. I don't know.
I will
don't know.
totally believe there's a finder from back east if it's postmarked and the frog is in there. Frog, frog.
Well,
frog.
we know who the letter was I got it. Solved Clue 1 was from back east. So yeah.
Yes, yes.
Let's wait to see what comes out by July 5th or 6th, right? 30 days. Well, is there a time frame for the finder to come forward? It's his own time frame. It's whatever he wants to do, right?
I believe Forrest will come forward. Oh gosh, I don't want to say in the next 10 days, but I believe Forrest will come out soon. I don't know what that soon means. I believe we're going to hear more from Forrest. My opinion.
State.
He said it during the interview or during the initial. He said he was going to come out with more of the state, other things, etc. I believe there's something that is precluding him from doing that. I believe that will change. He said it to me initially. I just think, I mean, we have at least 1-2 lawyers in the room. During an active lawsuit, you don't talk.
Right.
And so he can't put out statements until after it's settled. The first one already settled. It was thrown out of court. Now the second one is on its way.
And just to mention something that somebody mentioned way earlier in the show, AGK points out that what Fenn said, I do not know the person who found it, but the poem in my book led him to the precise spot. But how can he say that if he doesn't know the solve from the actual person? That's all. But anyway, what I was going to say is somebody said earlier, do you think somebody emailed Forrest the correct solve without retrieving it? And that's when Forrest did the announcement. In other words, could somebody have sent them the exact solve, solved all the clues, all the keywords that Forrest scans for, but has not actually gone to retrieve it yet? And Forrest did the announcement Saturday night saying it's been found.
No.
And then the person went to go find it. I don't believe that's true. Yeah.
Occam's razor. No, somebody found it, retrieved it, and now there's a crazy town.
Yeah, because the rules of the game were you have to go get it. The rules of the thrill of the chase were not email me the correct solution and I'll tell you if you're right or not. You
Yeah.
had to actually find it and retrieve it. So no, I don't believe in any way that there was an email that Forrest announced it without having the proof of the pictures that somebody.
Denise says, when did he say he'd come out with the state? It was maybe day 6 update or day 7 update. I actually referenced the exact article that said, and he was quoted in saying, the state will come out and the solve may come out. And I think Forrest is going to give out the state. That's my opinion. I don't have any solid information
Yeah.
on it, but
And Forrest said a photograph is how I know it was found, right? So that can put the rumors to rest. And just to be clear, because maybe I went off on a tangent, I do believe the finder found it. I don't believe Forrest sent Shiloh to get it. And
Why
then
did we
put up
even
the
do
whole
that
thing
then?
on Dale's blog? I was just trying to play devil's advocate to say, what could he have ended it? I believe he could have ended it if he wanted to, but not this way. He couldn't have ended it this way. And I don't think he did try and end it this way. So.
then you know what? People are going to take the clips of you and say, oh, but Cowlazar said, and Cowlazar said, and you kept saying this is a thought exercise, but that's not, I don't know.
thought
Maybe that was good. What did you guys think? Going through Mike's thought exercise that was totally wrong. Was that worth it? Is that something that we should be doing? Or is that?
If the finder emails Forrest tonight and says, you're okay to release a solve, that in no way gives away the finder's identity, right? In other words, would Forrest have a personal reason because of a lawsuit not
Oh,
to solve? Hang on. If the finder told him, you can go ahead and release it.
yes.
Why?
So if someone that has already filed a lawsuit says, I was searching in Yellowstone and I believe someone hacked my solve, I am suing John Doe and Forrest Fenn. Then it comes out that the solve was in Yellowstone. Let's
Gotcha.
just say.
Okay.
And let's say he puts out the solve and we have 9 people who have emailed us that that was their final location. And now they're the new great lawsuit of Forrest retrieved it. It was my spot. I put it on record beforehand. I sent it to, I put it on Thor. I did this, I did that. That could give credence to those people.
Well, and Lisa, if you're still watching and you're in the room, could weigh in. I don't believe the correct solve in any way affects a lawsuit. The merit of the lawsuit, if the merit of a lawsuit is I got my computer hacked, well, Forrest Fenn didn't hack your computer. What's Forrest got to do with it? What does the correct solve have to do, whether you're right or wrong? If the correct solve was right or wrong on your computer, if you're saying somebody hacked your computer, it doesn't matter if the solve is right or wrong. Somebody hacked your computer. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Because Forrest is the one that knows who the person is.
Right. But him putting out the solve, that lawsuit still goes forward. Whether he has to put out the name of the person who found it has nothing to do with what the solve is. The two are separate. They're two
Right,
separate
but you
issues.
still have to get it. Okay, so if you know, if you put out the solve and there's going to be 19 lawyers from Chicago filing lawsuits, they may not win, but they're still going to file the lawsuits once they know their spot was the one.
I got you.
Why would you want to invite
Yeah,
19 lawsuits and make all of that go away?
because they're all going to be lost anyway. But in other words, I don't think
I don't care. I have been in lawsuits that I have won every time. You still have to pay the lawyers. And so everybody loses. The only people that win in court are the lawyers.
Mike Dodine says, I'm suing myself. I hit the wrong one. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. So if in fact the correct solve was Yellowstone, that opens up legal issues. Whatever land it was on does open up legal issues for the finder, even if people don't know who the finder was. Because
can you imagine if the final location was in Yellowstone Park? Let's just say it's in Yellowstone Park and Forrest comes out with the solution and says it's in Yellowstone Park. The Yellowstone Park superintendent or whoever god of the park, we want it back. It should have been given to us for 30 days.
Right.
We're suing that person and you have to tell us who it is. And now Forrest gets thrown in the slammer because he doesn't give the information.
And that's really any land that, and that's really any land. In other words, there's going to be a legal issue no matter where it was found, right? Even if it's BLM, somebody could say, oh, that land, that's where it was that you owe me. I'm going to sue over.
Except if it was on Forrest private property.
Oh, that Forrest owned it. Yeah. Wouldn't that be something? But as far as legal ownership issues, it just, you see a picture of Forrest, it's like the person returned Forrest Fenn's property and he could have been like, yeah, I give it to you because you found it. It just seems interesting to me that Forrest had it back in his possession. And then, legally, he could have been like, all I did was return this guy's stuff that he left somewhere. And then Forrest says, and I'm giving it to you. And because it's a gift, maybe there's no taxes or whatever. I don't know. I don't know the legal.
No, you can only gift what, 15,000 a year? You can only.
I heard there was a lifetime. You could do your lifetime all at once, but you can't do it again because you've used it up for the lifetime. But I could be wrong. I could totally be wrong. Atlantic Coast says a retired Yellowstone National Park ranger told me every inch of Yellowstone National Park has been walked, and I believe her. How could every inch be searched for Forrest Fenn's treasure? I don't believe that at all. No. Yeah, but Forrest, you should tell us the state. If anything, tell us the state. There's no way that in my.
Oh my God! But you know what? It will not be enough for some, and some, especially the people that have searched 7 or 8 or 9 states that we. I mean, they'll get even more spooled up. So I don't know. Whatever. Okay. This is a very different.
Actually, Toby wants to call in. Is that okay?
Of course. No, he's not allowed. Of course.
They sent me the website because I just dismissed that website without ever really reading it. So I
did too until Toby and I talked, and we talked several times.
You did tell me. I just
I'll beat you up, Mister.
We're gonna get Toby on the line, Mr. AGK himself, Mr. one half of AGK. And we'll see what he's got to say. So give me a second, Toby. A good show tonight, everybody. Yeah, And this proves, I think, that people still want an outlet to discuss. But I will
No,
say
but
this,
this is-
everybody. Oh, what?
Okay.
Go
I
ahead.
want to say at the end,
Son of a.
I would like to hear from everybody after we talk with Toby.
Yeah.
I've actually been a little frustrated at like what you've said, and not frustrated at you because I want your opinion. But when oh, he ran away when I said it. I'm having a hard time because I guess I'm not 100% clear, and I don't want to look like I'm doubting Forrest. I'm doubting this process. I don't like this process, but I don't want to be negative. I don't want to be the nasty people. So maybe it's good that you see that even I have doubt or Mike has questions and that sort of thing. But I was frustrated with tonight. I'm not feeling good about it. And maybe that's okay that you guys see that, kind of like when Forrest said something as real as what else do I have left? You guys chime in. Do you think this was a good thing? Do you think this was a bad thing? Do you think this muddies the water more? Do you think this feeds the haters? That's what I don't want to do. But I don't know. Maybe I'm right. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm usually wrong. Mike's usually right. So it feels off. Yeah. Thank you, Monkey. You and I are on the same page. Yeah. Making popcorn now. Yeah. I don't want that. I don't know. The website is legit if Nigeria was in the search area. Wow.
What's up? What I miss?
I just said this 2 hours and 20 minutes feels, not the beginning with the clips, but this feels off to me, or that's how Lucky put it, and I like that. It feels like I don't want to feed the haters. I don't want to say that I'm doubting. I don't like this process because I'm going through my own emotions. Maybe it is good to hear that. Maybe it isn't. I'm obviously have different feelings than you and different thoughts than you.
Right.
We didn't discuss it beforehand because we usually don't, but
So
it's
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
so Holy says it's intelligent, respectful debate, so it's okay. I
Yeah.
just don't want to feed the negative because there's so much negative narrative right now. I just want to say I want to trust the process, and you kept saying that because you're reasonable, but I guarantee there's already posts on the hate site saying Cowlazars and kpro, you know, all the names they call me.
Whatever.
And I don't know. I don't want them to drive the narrative, but I don't want to feed their.
Oh, I don't want to feed any conspiracy theories either. It's to me, we can have a reasonable talk about it. I know there might be some unreasonable people that were listening, but
Detroit, hello.
whoa, that was loud. All right, we're calling AGK, everybody. Let's see if it works.
The treasure is found.
It works. I mean, oh, it's ringing. Hey, it's ringing. All right, because he says Forrest cannot reveal the state, so maybe he's going to.
Hello.
Hey, Toby, it's Mike and Christy. How are you?
Hi.
Hang on. Hi, you guys. How are you doing? Let me turn off my volume here.
All right. Are you
All right,
at a
that's good.
undisclosed location?
I am at an
Yeah.
undisclosed location.
Okay.
There's nothing you can do at this point short of tracking my phone to know where I am.
All right. What's your take on all this? The Forrest Fenn treasure
So
being found?
So I've heard. Now, first of all, I trust your intellectual capacity as much as I trust Christie's intellectual capacity.
Mhm.
And I've heard all the questions that you're asking about this theory that I've proposed. And as I listen to your questions, I can tell you I have answers to all of them. So
Okay.
let me tell you the theory, if you want. I know Christy doesn't necessarily want to give this some oxygen. So
Oh.
let's make sure that she's okay with
I
it
can just
first.
mute Christy. So, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, not for life, baby. No.
That's true. All right, go ahead.
No, actually, I like the discussion that we had because at the end, we came up to a different conclusion, but we had a good intellectual discussion about it. So, Toby, fire away.
All right. So here's my theory. My theory is based upon, actually, this I have to give credit to one of our member vault room members, Jim from Ohio, who proposed the theory. Now, we all remember in about March where the ForrestFoundTreasure.com appeared. We were advised of it. I went to it on the show. I said, it's just another fraud, guys.
Right.
Ignore it. But then we started tracking it. And here's what they say. What they say is that the treasure was found last August of 2019.
Okay.
And during that period of time, it's all in a row. And then in March, they put up a website and put the treasure up for auction. Now, you guys know as well as I do that Shelley and I have proposed that should we have ever found the treasure, that we would have done the same thing. But used Sotheby's, for example. All right. But they put the treasure up for auction in a public way on that treasure site. Around the first week in May, they announced that they got an offer that was so big than any of the others, they decided to accept it would on 1 week to counter offer, to increase their offer. On May 15th, they announced that nobody had outbid this one bidder and they were going to accept it. So if you look at it, what they had proposed was the money would be put into escrow. They would present the finder with the location of the chest. I'm going to qualify that in just a moment. They would present the finder with the location of the chest. Once the finder had agreed that they had Forrest Fenn's treasure in their possession, they would release the escrow. All of that would have, for somebody back east, would have taken about 2 weeks. Then in the first week of June, the buyer, having the photographs that were presented to him by the finder, because the finder would have to prove that they actually found the treasure, the buyer, having that evidence, presents it to Fenn. And then on June 6th, Fenn, in a very angry way, this is the thing that kind of pushed me over the edge, in a very angry way says, the treasure has been found. And then he makes that one statement where he says, let me see if I can read it here. He says, in a very, I don't know, it's not hostile, but it's angry. He says, hang on, I've got to get to the page.
We're talking on Dale's.
Congratulations to the thousands of searchers that have.
No, it was before that.
Oh.
He says where it was, and then he says, I do not know the person who found it, but the poem in my book led him to a precise spot, which is absolutely true. Here's what's interesting about what the finder did. The finder said that after finding the treasure, they moved it. This is all in that forrestfendtreasure.com. They actually moved it from the original location. That has two effects. Number one, it invalidates the poem. So you could have finally, after all this time, figured out the clues. And when you got there, you'd have that thing that we've heard so many times. It was just an empty hole.
Right.
Right. And they moved it to a location that they said was nearby within the same boundaries of the original location, implying that, and I'm just using this as an example. If, for example, it was originally hidden in Yellowstone National Park, it was re-hidden close by in Yellowstone National Park. Now, let me qualify that. I'm using that as an example. It was in the same boundaries. So then they did that. And then if you look at Forrest's behavior, it's been kind of odd in a hostile sense. He hasn't congratulated the finder. Think about this. If the person who informed Forrest that the treasure had been found, or that they had the treasure, was the buyer and not the finder, and they don't know who the finder is because the escrow is protecting that. The only thing they have was the original picture that the finder, which I looked at as a PNG, the metadata had been erased, et cetera, et cetera. But now the buyer shows up and says, I have the treasure. Fenn says, I'd like to see it. The buyer says, I'll meet you at the attorney's office. Fenn reviews the treasure and he agrees that's his. Everything ends and he can't do anything else until the finder takes some action. And it doesn't sound to me like Fenn is in communication.
Well, except for Toby, GTC Greg says, Forrest said though that it hadn't moved in the 10 years since he walked away after hiding it. What do you think?
And for the person that found it.
Okay.
Well, let's put it this way. Let's say you had found the treasure. Would you leave it in the same location? No, you would move it. It might not be to someplace in the same boundaries. It might be to but that statement is true. Fenn is very good at making statements that are true. When the finder found the treasure, it hadn't moved in the more than 10 years since he left it.
But
that's true. That's a true statement.
But let's step back. Why, for this original quote unquote group that found it, why would they rehide it? Why would they not come out at that time and say, we found it, Forrest, here's the proof. Now we're going to sell it to the highest bidder.
All right. So, okay.
What's the reason?
That's a good question. Let me answer that. So first of all, we're only assuming that it's a group. It could be
Or-
one
or
individual
one person,
as,
right.
as much as it could be a group.
Mhm.
That's number one. Number two, you move it because you don't want it found. You invalidate the poem. So if let's say the poem clues take me to Rio de los Pinos in New Mexico, I take it from Rio de los Pinos
Mhm.
and I put it someplace else in the Carson National Forest.
Right.
The poem is now invalid. That means no one else is going to find this treasure.
Well-
He could bury it if he wanted to. He could do whatever he wanted.
Why
Right?
wouldn't they take it?
And
Why,
then
I don't understand the
and
purpose
then-
of rehiding it, but go ahead.
The purpose of rehiding it is A, to invalidate the poem, and B, to give you a number, to give you all the time that you needed to get your ducks lined up in a row, get your legal advice set up, get your book deals done, and put up a website in March
But
that puts it up for sale.
but in a safety deposit box, it does the exact same effect.
You're
You
leaving a
have-
paper trail. It doesn't have the same effect. The big difference is that if I take that treasure and bury it someplace else in the forest, and this time it's not findable,
Mhm.
I don't have a paper trail. I walk to a safe deposit box. I have to buy that box. I have to rent that box. I have to watch as that guy opens the key, and I have a backpack with me. I leave a paper trail. The most important thing to anonymity, to maintaining, and I know this from experience, the most important thing to maintaining your anonymity is not to leave a paper trail.
But Forrest said put it under your bed. I think it's under someone's bed.
Yeah,
Sorry,
I
I
don't-
can't get around this. I totally respect what you're saying. And there's crazier theories. There's more, I think Occam's razor. I think it's a more simple, but I actually did exactly what Mike did. Oh, it's just like Wormwater's Hold or Wormwater's Dash Hold or whatever it
yeah.
was. Those
Right.
were all just crazy people, in my opinion,
Here's
just
how
capitalizing.
we'll prove it one way or the other.
Mhm.
All right. Here's how it will be proven one way or the other. If Forrest Fenn announces the location, the place where he hid the treasure, if he makes that announcement, you're right.
No.
If we
What
don't
if he
hear
what
the
if he
location-
said what if Forrest
I don't-
says there was no additional finder. I got it. I had direct. What if he debunks this theory more directly than that?
He hasn't, and he won't.
No, but I think what my point is, I think he might, because it might get
Well,
some
if
legs
he
that you
does-
are
if
giving
he
it.
does,
If you're giving it
he does-
credibility, I think people are going to look into it.
right. If he does, then I will admit being wrong about this theory, but he hasn't.
Yeah,
And because of the things that he said in the past about the rights of the finder, he's always said the finder has the right, has the title to determine how everything is handled after the treasure is found.
Yep.
So
Well, and that's
here's
what
I
Lurker
would
Mike
tell you.
says.
You're-
If the
you're
finder
right.
did this,
You're right.
they are brilliant. They are
I
brilliant.
don't think it's brilliant. I don't understand. Wouldn't they have gotten more money if I find it and I bring it home and then put it in an auction, like you said, Toby? Wouldn't that bring more money than having some website that probably 2% of the population believes in and would make an offer on? Of the
It is,
population
yes.
of searchers.
Except that they found somebody to buy it at the price that they wanted, that was high enough so that they could say to themselves, okay, that's a good enough number. If you take it to auction like we had planned to, you leave a paper trail. You may maintain your anonymity, but
Right.
sooner or later, you'll find there's a paper trail. This was the easiest way not to leave a paper trail.
But isn't there a paper
The-
trail
the
with
tr- the-
escrow?
Absolutely. There's a transaction that occurred
Mhm,
in some attorney's office that none of us know
mhm,
that released the escrow, right,
mhm.
to their client. And unless somebody finds out who that firm is and somehow subpoenas that information, there's no reason for them to give it up. They'd have to have a valid reason for doing it. That's a valid legal transaction. You have no right to it.
But we can agree that the person or persons who sold the treasure chest will in fact pay taxes on that money. Is that correct?
If I was that person, I would indeed pay taxes, but your tax records are not open to FOIA.
No. What I'm saying is, wouldn't it be reported to the IRS? If I buy something from somebody using escrow, is that reported?
Well, it's going to be reported twice.
And that's what I meant.
What
is
I
it's-
would
they're
have
not
done
getting
if
out
I
of
had been the
anything.
finder is I would have called an attorney who specializes in work for the IRS, explained to them what I was doing, I was taking a treasure that would have an assessed value of 2.5 million, and I'm going to sell it for X times 2.5 million, and I'll pay you taxes on that number. You know what the IRS would say?
Well,
Okay.
They get money.
Well, or if it's some kind of Cayman Islands corporation BS where it's all hidden, which is
You
possible.
could.
Right?
I
Yeah.
don't. This guy's gonna. Here's what I was gonna say. You'll know that my theory, and actually it's Jim's theory. I should give him credit for this. If my theory is correct, if the first time you and I hear about where the treasure was located is in their book,
In whose book?
The buyer.
in the finders. No, not the buyer. The buyer doesn't know where it was.
Oh,
the buyer
you,
has
you
no
think,
idea where
oh,
that treasure is.
yeah, I just assumed the person who bought the chest also bought the solution to the poem.
No,
as well.
if you look at the
Oh, see, I
the
gotta read the website.
ForrestFoundTreasure.com site, they say they retained the rights to that information. They sold the
Oh,
buyer
interesting.
the treasure chest and nothing else.
Well, then I got to look into the website. We'll definitely have
Okay.
to show on it once
So,
I look up on it. Okay.
Here is the minute mark that you need to send Forrest, Mike, and say the community is going to start looking into this heavily unless you would like to clarify that this is
Yeah, that's right.
crazy. This
could
is
at least
bat
clarify
beep crazy. Fenn clarifies you need to get an email back, and all the email needs to say is nope, not it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
No, whatever it
No, that
is.
can't be
Otherwise, we'll
more-
go down this rabbit hole with Toby and Mike. Oh my
Can't be-
gosh.
It can't be any crazier than people who are criticizing Fenn because they believe he retrieved the treasure or had the treasure retrieved, or even worse, he is the buyer of that treasure.
Yes,
So
yes, it's true.
These are all less crazy. These are that theory that I propose to you is far less crazy than any of the others that implicate Fenn. Fenn is not implicated.
Does the
Fenn,
okay? Sorry, Toby. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
no, go ahead.
Does the
No, not at all.
website at all say that they contacted Forrest when they originally found it, or that they reburied it?
Well, here's what Forrest says about that. He says that at some point the finder reached out to him. He knew that the finder, but he didn't, and he said it in a funny sentence. I have to go back to that. He said it in a really, really funny way on Dale's site.
No,
and it
I
was
mean
on that second.
I mean the original finder way back in March or wherever. Does it say on that website anywhere that they contacted Forrest? What I'm getting at is
It
if they
doesn't.
did, then
Yeah,
then
it
that's,
doesn't.
Then that's horrible
But-
because they let people think it
Right.
was out there the whole time when really it wasn't.
I agree with you,
Okay.
especially because one additional searcher died in March, and that might have been the impetus for them to take the action that they did and sell the treasure outright, thereby ending the treasure hunt.
We're going to call
Forrest
this
ended
one
up
the Jim theory.
unwilling-
Jim theory.
Forrest ended up-
Go ahead, Toby.
Forrest ended up an unwitting partner in all of this, but he wasn't a active participant. He was as surprised by it probably as we all were.
Well, the senator's niece says the domain for that website was created February 26th.
And that's of this year, right?
That's what I'm
Yeah.
assuming.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So, but if they
Yeah.
found it August, then they came out in February. Okay. You
Right.
know what? This is one of now. I think there's 10 conspiracy theories. We know some of them are debunked, like Forrest died. I've talked to him on the phone. I know it was him because we had a little bit of a, I always worry. It's like I won't say code words, but like some things we talked about. There's some things debunked. This one is after I talked with Toby. I didn't say I believed it, but I can't say absolutely not. But this is what I mean, Mike, when I said we come up with our most plausible in our head. Oh, did he call it off because of family or crazies or whatever? This could be one. This could be the legit reason. I'm going back to Occam's razor, but it definitely could be it.
So you have to know that for whatever the friction is in our relationship between Forrest and I respect the man. And I do not believe that he is the buyer of the treasure. I don't believe that he recovered it or had someone recover it in his behalf. I think those are the crazy ones. This other one sounds plausible, except that what the person that Fenn would have met with was not the finder, it was the buyer. And I think that's where some of the, I don't want to say anger, where some of the unhappiness comes from. But this is the line that I was looking for there's a line above the photo of the treasure chest, and it's almost oxymoronic. He says, the treasure chest was found by a man I did not know and had not communicated with since 2018.
Right.
So the question you have to ask yourself, if you didn't know the man, how did you know that you had not communicated with him since 2018?
By the email address that he sent him the photograph to. Same email.
No. I don't think he sent Forrest the photograph. I think the buyer presented or sent Forrest the photograph, because he would have had to receive that from the finder in order to validate the find.
So you're saying those are not the same people? And don't you think
yeah, that's right.
Forrest would say that in his announcement here if they were not the same person?
No, how would he say that? Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
What would stick more in Forrest's craw than discovering that the person that is bringing his treasure to him was not the finder, but the buyer?
Right.
The buyer of the treasure.
But how would Forrest know?
Meet the finder. Pardon me?
How would Forrest know? Do you think the person who
Because
bought
he
it
would have-
told
he-
Forrest? Said, hey, I bought it from
Yeah,
someone.
he would have to. Yeah, exactly. He would have to tell him, because he doesn't know where the treasure. He would ask him. If you were Forrest, you would have to say, well, where did you find it?
Right.
And the buyer would say, and if you look at all Forrest's statements since then, he never says that he heard this from the person who presented the chest. The person who presented him the chest doesn't know. There's two people who know where that treasure chest was. Forrest Fenn and the finder. The buyer does not know. Because
Okay, well,
the
yeah, it's
finder
interesting.
reserved the rights to ownership of that location, and
Uh,
we'll find out when his book or whatever comes out.
I will read the
his-
website. Debbie Teal
his
said you
interview-
should read it, and I
His
will.
interview with Josh Gates, because Josh
Yeah.
Gates has already invited him.
Right, exactly. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So,
Yeah.
so in your opinion, you think what the website states is a viable solution or viable ending? You think it could be valid?
It could be, in the sense that right now, and when you compare it to all the other theories, some of which implicate Fenn in a further hoax, yes, I do believe that. I don't believe Fenn was involved in some hoax to end
Right.
the treasure hunt.
And I
I
don't
think
either,
Fenn
right.
was a unknowing participant in what he thought was the end of his treasure hunt, until he met the person, and the person, when he asked the person, where did you find it, or how did you follow the clues, the person didn't have an answer for him. It was then that he discovered the person would have to admit that he's a multi-millionaire buyer of the treasure.
And Matthew Coughlin did a super chat and has a good point, Toby. He says, I respectfully submit this sounds an awful lot like hindsight bias in viewing a website that would have been dismissed as a crazy bird pre-find. Are you saying the only reason you believe the website might be valid is due to the timing of the solution of Forrest saying it's been found?
No, it's not just that. If you add up all the evidence, if you add up the fact that Forrest has not congratulated the finder, that he seems to be a little bit upset with all of this. He's almost angry the way that he's handling it. It didn't end the way he wanted it. And the timing is more than just coincidental. They describe in great detail how they were going to handle this. And it has thus far been handled exactly as it was described.
Well,
and finally, short of the conspiracy theories, there is no real good solution to the problem. I mean, let's imagine that 2 weeks ago, at the beginning of June, there was a finder who, using the clues, found the chest. What would prevent anyone from being presented in that way? It hasn't been. Fenn has done a really interesting job of isolating the finder from the person who showed up with the chest.
Well, he did congratulate on his announcement, but he congratulated the thousands of people who participated.
He congratulated the finder. Oh, no, I'm sorry.
The thousands.
He hasn't congratulated the finder. He has not congratulated the finder.
He congratulated the thousands of people who participated in the search. Wouldn't that include the
Absolutely.
finder? Well, you're saying no because the finder bought it. I understand what you're saying.
No, not the finder bought it. The buyer.
The
bought it.
buyer, right.
A rich guy from the east
Right.
will find out eventually, bought the chest from the finder.
That is interesting. I'll definitely reread the website seriously this time, and then I'll
right.
email Forrest and just say
No,
put it to rest one way or the other.
And like most of the rest of us, I looked at that website when I was informed back in March it existed, because that was the first time I saw it, and I called it a hoax. How stupid! Do you believe anybody's going to fall for that? And then you watched him do it, actually accomplish it. And then when you realize the timing was just too coincidental for it to be a hoax.
All right. Well, we'll see.
And
I hope
we
find
still
out.
don't know the location. I don't think Fenn can tell. I think because of the public statements that he's made in the past about the finder having control, I don't think he can say where the treasure was found. I think pressuring him, no matter how you're pressuring him, he is likely prevented.
Oh, there's no
from
pressure. Yeah, no, there's no pressure or anything. But if that's true, if Forrest is upset that a person who bought the chest is the one who presented it to him, then if I was Forrest, I'd put the solution and say, screw the people who found it and didn't tell me about it. Wouldn't that be his right to do that?
No, I think for the number of times that in public, including in the interview that you did, he said it would be up to the finder to release that information. I think you guys played the clip tonight.
Yeah. He did say that. He has said that.
Yeah. Well, he said that more than once. That is now in the public domain. And if he did that, he'd open himself up to a suit from the finder.
Yeah, possibly. Okay. Is that a contract when you make a public statement like that? Yeah.
If you do it more than once and you make it publicly several times and you're very clear, I mean, look at the way he says it. And I've watched that video. I've watched the Cynthia version of it. Look at the way he says it. He says it with all sincerity. And you could take that into court and say, he said he wouldn't do that, and he did.
But does he have the right to change his mind? I guess is what it would come down to in a court of law. In other words, is it binding, or he decided it on that day, but today he changed his mind? Yeah, those are good. That's good legal questions.
You have to ask yourself, there's nothing else in this treasure hunt is binding. If that is not binding, then nothing else is binding. You have to hold him to something.
But again, in my
and until he says it, until Fenn tells you what state it was in,
right,
he believes it's binding.
But do you believe Forrest could have ended it on his own if he wanted to? Back to the question of like
if he had wanted to, yes, he has that right.
But then
if there had been enough pressure from authorities, for example, it's his treasure hunt. Now, he would have had to live with all the flack that he would have taken as a result, but it is his right.
But if he has the right to change his mind on retrieving it, does he have the right to change his mind on putting out the solution?
He does. He doesn't. Here's why. The treasure chest, until it is found, the title is in his name. He owns that treasure chest.
Right.
Once the finder has the treasure chest, he has always said the title is transferred. It's not his treasure chest anymore. After August of 2019, it's not his treasure chest. Therefore, he can't make any decisions about it. And I would suspect that when he said it was up to the finder, he knew that. He knew exactly that.
Interesting take on all of this, that's for sure. I will definitely reread the website. And so the website says they found it in August of last year, and somebody in chat said the domain was created February of this year. So that's interesting.
Right. There's something else that you should know about the website. They say on the website that they left something of good value in the place of the treasure chest, and they challenge the searchers to go look for it, and they say it will be worth your trip. So there's something there where the treasure was.
Interesting. So then maybe that's part of the reason people are still looking boots on the ground. I don't know. Okay. What do you think, kpro? You don't agree? What's your percentage that the website could be correct, or that they actually found it? 100% being they found it, or 0% meaning there's no way?
I find it more likely that Forrest Fenn called off this chase and picked it up himself, or Shiloh, than this. But there is, I'm not gonna, Toby and I talked a lot more in depth on this.
Yeah, we did.
I see all of it. I just don't see it though. Like all of it seems plausible. Nothing seems outlandish except for the whole thing. It's like every piece of it lines up. The timing lines up. What they're saying lines up. It seems very, very calculated. If it's a hoax, it seems very calculated, and a lot of things would have to be the timing with Forrest and this and that. It's a lot of odd coincidences. So I don't like it, and I told I told Toby that I don't like it. I don't know why though, because like what Toby said, there is a logic to it, and the timing of Forrest rolling out the reveal, or the finder found it, and all of that, it all fits. But
Did they say on the website if they will in fact put out the solution at some point, or they did not say?
They haven't said that they would. They
Okay.
said they have retained the rights to ownership of the solution, and it did not pass with the purchase of the treasure chest. And that's why I say
Okay.
we'll find out when the finder publishes their book.
So Joel Dunn says Forrest may owe the finder anonymity, but he doesn't owe the buyer anything. He could put out the
No, he
buyer's
doesn't
name
owe.
if he wanted to.
There's probably a gentleman's agreement, but
Right. Yeah, I got you. You said that you there, Toby?
if the guy is
Okay.
rich enough,
Mhm.
to have purchased the treasure for an auctioned price,
Right.
he's rich enough to determine what he wants to do with it. And honestly, not that I am, but I know those that are rich people love owning things that are unique that other rich people can't own.
And what if it was Douglas Preston?
I would be really surprised.
Or somebody
I
that
don't-
Forrest knows. What if it was the
Yeah,
200 footer from 8
if
years
it was
ago?
Douglas Preston, or if it was Christy or Mike or Toby or Shelley or Cynthia or Dale, we'd all be in exactly the same boat.
Right.
We would be in exactly the same boat. There would have been some sort of implication of fraudulent behavior.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Very interesting.
So I've taken enough of your time. I wanted to give you the opportunity
No,
to get
thank
some of those
you.
questions answered.
Yeah, well, I will take a serious look at the website now. So yeah, thank you for the input.
Take a look at it. Just take a look at it and see how it was handled. The grammar, the punctuation, some of the spelling is horrendous. But right
On
at
the
the beginning,
website?
they admitted,
Really?
I'm not the finder. I'm the guy that they asked to make the website. And I found
Oh.
it, and as a matter of fact, that's one of the reasons I thought that it was a hoax, because it was so poorly done. But then you follow it up and you start looking at the dates, and it kind of, and the way, and more importantly, not just the dates, but Forrest's behavior. His behavior is off. It's not the joyous event that he wanted all of this. It ended, and you'd think having ended it, it would be really, really happy because it resolves the issues that he was experiencing with his family. It's over. I mean, now, by the same token, our position on the matter is the Forrest Fenn treasure hunt is over. However it ended,
Yes.
it is
Yeah.
over.
Right.
You'd think he'd be happy about that.
Well, he
I didn't
says he's
see that
half
kind of
happy,
joy in
half sad, but not neutral. I
Yeah,
don't know. That
specifically-
might. He says he's half happy, half sad, but not neutral. So
Yeah,
actually, that
yeah,
might go
yeah,
to what
exactly.
you're saying. Oh, I don't know.
Well, and it could be.
All right, you guys.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm
Toby,
sorry,
thank
go
you for
ahead.
calling in. No, I was just
Yeah.
going to say it could be that he's off or acting strangely because it was found, no matter how it was found. He never really thought it was going to be found in his lifetime. Possibility. That's all. But
Could very well be. Yeah.
yeah. All right, Toby. Interesting. Thanks for the thoughts. And
All right, you guys.
yeah.
Thank you.
We'll
I've
talk
got to
again.
get back to writing right here. Shelley is going to wake up tomorrow and expect me to have done 2 more chapters. So,
All right. Good
Have
luck.
fun
And
this week.
we're all waiting for the details when you release
All
the
right.
treasure
Yeah.
hunt.
all right. We look forward to it. You guys have a great evening. Thank
right.
you.
Okay. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
Detroit, hello.
Oh, that was way too loud. But the phone lines are closed, everybody. And the reason there's closed is there's this little TV show called Yellowstone you guys may have heard of. Well, season 3 premiere starts in 15 minutes on the Paramount Network. I didn't even know I had the Paramount Network, but luckily they were doing a marathon on season 1 and 2. So I am going to watch the brand new season premiere episode of Yellowstone in about 10 minutes. So everybody can check that out. I think it's good. Kevin Costner, I think is pretty cool.
And opposites attract. I don't own a TV. Mike loves TV. There you go. Actually, I own a TV. I just can't turn it. I mean, there's nothing that goes on it.
Yeah, and Brian Eagle, Toby already said what the website is. And it's not like we're trying to hide it. It's just I would have to read it because, you know, as soon as, and I think even back when it first came out in February, somebody sent it and said, hey, look at this website. They say,
Well, but Crocodile just put, they stayed on the website, quote, unfortunately, the agreement prevents us from releasing any details of the search for the treasure, which is very unfortunate.
yeah. What I don't understand is, let's say it's all true. When they created the website, why don't they show a picture? In other words, why don't they have some proof where people would take them seriously and then they would get some bids for the treasure? That's all.
Well,
but again, I'll read the website and I'll kind of think it through.
And here's the opposite for me.
Yeah.
I have a life. I have a job. I'm going to focus on that and focus on the things that Forrest said, because as much as this website's there, and I know Toby considered it, I have 20 people. There are 20 people and about 10 of them have reached out directly to me. Now, I do have to tell you, the person that I was like, put your money where your mouth is, I'm not going to talk to you about all of this until you put some proof. And he's like, frogs in the mail. If I get the frog, I will talk with you. I just, why this person over anyone else? So.
Again, I've always said, why would you believe anybody if they don't provide some kind of proof? Now, Toby's saying the time frame or timeline of how things transpired means it could be correct, but I want to kind of read it myself. The other thing I'll do is I'm going to do a thought process of, I find the AGK proxy item, but I'm not going to tell AGK I'm going to sell it. So I'm going to make a website and I'm going to say, I found the proxy item and for 10 grand, you can have it. And then you get all those awesome items that are in AGK's treasure chest. I'm going to think it out and see if I would have done it the same way. It's just a thought process. It's just a logic exercise to see if the way they did it makes sense. Yeah, and I know 10
simplify. Let's simplify. Logic, I don't know. Process. I guess I'm just trying to. I think we all process this in different ways.
Yeah.
Today, just this 2-3 hour experience has been very up and down, and I felt awkward at parts. I mean, maybe that's what we're all going through, so that's a good thing. But
I hope it's cathartic for searchers to talk about it, to be able to post in the chat, to be able to discuss. I know a lot of people have said do a marathon because people want to put out their solves. I don't know about that one because some of those solves are going to be pretty kooky. Me and kpro will discuss if we want to do anything like that. I'm not sure. I would rather wait till the real solution comes out. And then
Dave Calvi has said he wants to take the lead on his channel to do that. And I think that's lovely. All the solutions, he's going to give each person a half an hour. A half an hour.
Do a marathon. Okay.
I said I'll come and chat. He's like, maybe we can invite like him and me and Street and a few others just to come and bounce ideas and all that.
Well,
I don't know.
Lappy Bandit says maybe Forrest ended it because of that website. Why? There's no proof. There's no reason to end anything. 1 million people have said, I found it. I found it. Or 1 million people have said, I was there and it was gone. There was a hole. None of that matters if you don't have some kind of proof. So anyway, it's just my opinion. The whole show has been me and kpro's opinion. We don't have any inside knowledge, everybody, but we thank you for being here with us. Thank you very much for the super chats. We do appreciate it. Make sure you thumbs up. We've got 86 thumbs up and 20 thumbs down.
20 thumbs down.
20 people think they found it, but nobody believes them.
That's right on. And haters. And you know what? I think they watch longer than the others. So we think you and you that don't like us, just stop emailing us because you do constantly. And I know your thoughts.
And Jack says, kpro and Cow, best show I have ever been a part of, hands down. If more info comes out, let's do it again. Let's continue the topic. I say we continue the topic even if more info doesn't come out, but we'll see. Anytime we go live and we are going to discuss, the Forrest Fenn treasure, it will say Forrest Fenn Treasure Found in the title. And if you guys are subscribed and you hit that bell and hit all, you will get an email when we do go live. Just like this wasn't planned until this morning and I posted the link. But tomorrow we're going to go live, talk about Vegas Die, the treasure hunt, upcoming treasure hunt in Las Vegas. Thursday, I'm not sure what we're doing, but we'll talk about it. I can't remember what we said we were going to talk about.
Theodosia, boots on the ground.
Oh, Theodosia, boots on the ground is Thursday. And then probably next weekend, we'll come back and talk about the Forrest Fenn Treasure Found again. So I do want to go over the website and I want to have a show on the merits of it.
And by that time, hi, Forrest, do you want to clarify? Let's just debunk this and say this is absolutely incorrect or no, this didn't just something. Just
Yeah, if
something.
he just put something on Dale's blog that was like, I don't know what he would say, but he could definitely put the discussion to rest. But
Yeah. And
Well,
then he would be setting the precedence that he has to put out when people are like crazy and putting conspiracies out. So I don't expect you to, but hey, we always ask. Thanks, Forrest, for considering it.
right. Okay, everybody, I guess that's it. I hope the discussion helps people. I know a lot of people, it's like a funeral. It's like the funeral for the thrill of the chase. So I hope just discussing things helps people work their way through it, because a lot of people take it personal, even though it's not, even though it's just a treasure hunt. Some people have so much time and money and invested in it that, they take it kind of hard. So, all right. Lisa Smith, you can email me. Anybody. Oh, wait, how can we find out? Oh, yeah, Lisa Smith, just email me and I'll let you know. The Vegas die books have not gone out. I'm still working on Chaseopolis right here. So give me this week to get the Vegas die books out. And I don't have all the Vegas die books. So yeah, if you are wondering, just email me and I'll let you know if it's going out or not. Okay. Alan M with the super chat. Didn't find out about your channel till after the Forrest Found Treasure was found, but I've watched about 100 hours of yours and Thor's previous live streams since. Look forward to listening in about future hunts. Well, thank you, Alan.
Nice.
Welcome, and thank you. We hope you subscribe to both channels, because me and kpro will, in fact, do our own treasure hunt at some point, and we will tell everybody about the treasure hunting amusement park and all the rides that you can still get on and ride.
Yeah, and I don't know if you saw when you were deep in discussion on what you were talking about with Toby. Randy came in as like, wow, this makes me not want to, I think he said, squelch any future treasure hunts. And I did ask him, do you think you would it be okay with you to stop yours currently? And he said only as a last resort, but kind of like what Toby said, kind of
Oh.
I reserve the right type of thing.
Oh, right. Okay. So, Randy, when I find your proxy item, I'm not going to give it to you. I'm going to sell it. I'm going to put it on a website and sell it for 10 grand. Yeah. I just want to think through that thought process of why somebody would do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the other thing, Randy, have you ever thought that when somebody does find it, because you are putting $1 to book sales to the prize pool, what if they just sit on it for a couple of years? They want the price to go up before they turn it in. Now, I know you said you check on it, so I guess that would be the only way to make sure somebody's not doing that. But just thoughts that come into play with these treasure hunts.
My head hurts. I want to just go out in the wilderness, pick up some gold, and be happy.
Yeah, if it was only that easy, or get a frog in the mail, that would make you happy too.
Oh, that would make me really happy.
The frog that's not the real one. What's that? You could get all kinds of frogs in the mail. Kermit the Frog. Let's see what other frogs are there. Anyway.
Oh, be nice, you guys, because just like the previous times when I have gotten from like spoof mails that say the treasure's been found, and I'll email Forrest and he'll say no. If I get a frog in the mail, my stomach's gonna drop. Don't do that. Only the finder can. And you got to email it to or give it to Mike, because anyway.
All right, everybody. Season premiere of Yellowstone in like 3 minutes. So
Okay.
check that out. We will be live tomorrow night on the Hint of Riches channel on the Vegas Die Treasure Hunt. And thanks, kpro. This was a good idea. I should have known it was going to go 3 hours. I told you this is going to go long. So yeah, good discussion.
Yes. Okay.
And, thanks everybody for tuning in.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Bye.